Hey guys, Raphael here, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Did you say podcast? Dudes, dudettes, you're listening to the podcast on the Geekcast Radio Network.
Welcome to The Pull Bags, Back Issue Classics. Join us as we talk about comics from yesteryear, from DC, Marvel, and more. So open your ears to hear our discussion of the older continuities, as the Back Issue Classics are also what's in the Pull Bag.
Hello and welcome to the Pull Bag. This is yet again another Back Issue Classics, and we are 2 weeks into the month of July 2014. I'm your host, Steve, Joe, and Mike. Joining me is Mr. Joe Reed. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
I am well, excited. I don't know. I'm just glad to be spending time with this series, both the first time through and then this again the second time through recording them with you. When you mentioned that we were going to be recording tonight, I was like, yeah, man, I'm so excited because this is such a good series, and I'm really glad to kind of have a reason to go through it a second time.
And the series that he is referring to, ladies and gentlemen, is IDW Publishing's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles main ongoing by Eastman and Waltz, with many, many, many artists. Santaluco is still currently on as main, as far as I know, because tonight we are going to witness City Fall, as well as, this is Volume 6 in trade. It collects issues 21 through 24 of the ongoing. This is City Fall Part 1, and we're also going to be talking about the first 4 villains micro-series in this continuity, which is Krang, Baxter, Old Hob, and Alopex. So that's what we are doing tonight. Hopefully, by next time, as of this recording, Joe is in the middle of constructing some can openers. Hopefully by the next time we have City Fall Part 2, he will, have his Secret of the Ooze Shredder helmet ready to go as well.
A helmet would be awesome. I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but yeah,
Why don't you tell everybody what you've been doing?
Well,
villain.
The Geek Sale was a couple of weeks ago, and I made some money, and I am an artist by trade, fine artist, sculptor by trade, and needed to get a planishing hammer. It's like a pneumatic hammer, and it makes these sheets of steel into rounded, domed-shaped pieces of steel. And I got it so I could make my wind-powered kinetic steel sculptures. But, I get the planishing hammer, I hook it up to my air compressor. What's the first thing that I decide to make? A shredder gauntlet. What am I going to do? I'm going to put pointy pieces of steel on the top of my fist. And so far, I have one of them made. I got to get a strap on it so it goes around the wrist. But, you slip your hand into it. There's a metal rod to hold on to. And, okay, just having this one thing on my hand, and I've walked from one room to another wearing this thing, you have to be ridiculously careful. Now, the shredder doesn't have to be careful. I do, because I don't want to kill anybody. But, it's so easy to bump into that counter, to clip your leg. And if I'm thinking of the scene in the movie where Tatsu walks up to the shredder and takes his cape off his shoulders. That's bloody dangerous. The shredder just has to flinch and you're gouged on his knee thing or his arm thing. So I kind of regret starting to make these, because it is very, very dangerous. And I'm responsible enough with things like this to hide it, to lock it up, and to not wear it around like a dummy on Halloween. But holy crap, these things are deadly. I haven't even put the final edge on them, and it's crazy. So we'll try to get some pictures of those up on the website when they're done.
Awesome. Yeah, no, when you first told me about this, I was like, that is interesting. And then I made the joke of, even though yours are the wrist gauntlets, I made the joke of, the shredder gives a whole new meaning to the term shoulder blades.
Yeah, I've figured out how to make the shoulder blades. I kind of like those too, the round ones. I don't know where I'm going to stop, because at some point I'm actually going to need to make fine art with that planishing hammer. But this has been fun. I don't. I don't know.
You are so going to end up with a movie one Shredder costume this Halloween.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
210-pound bearded lump behind the mask. I don't think I'm going to be convincing in that, but we'll see what happens.
On. That mask hides his majority of his face. I mean, it would hide pretty much all of your facial hair.
I'll have to get.
I would think.
I like the designs of the Shredder, like Santaluco's, where he's got the samurai round bellied armor plate with the foot logo kind of above the tummy. I like that, and that I might be able to hide my gut with if I go that direction. I don't know what's going to happen.
All right, so as I said, we're here to talk about City Fall and the villains micros, the first 4 villain micros. The City Fall cover on the trade, I am assuming, I don't think this is one of the issue covers. It's basically Raph looking like he's falling.
Oh yeah, yep. That's City Fall number 1 on my stack of singles here.
Okay, and it's got Shredder on the left and Splinter up at the top right there, like where it says City Fall.
Yep.
It's got City and then Shredder and then Splinter and then Fall. Exclusively for the trade, the image here on the first page of the trade is Shredder wearing his Snuggie just on a black background. And I gotta say, when I was first reading this, first of all, I hope everyone has listened to our interview with Chief Turtle Editor Bobby Curnow from IDW Publishing, because I spent like 4 days reading. I've already read this, and it's been like, I don't know, about a month since that happened. Month or a little bit more than a month since that happened, and I normally don't do that. I normally don't read stuff so far in advance of recording it for it. And when I was going back this time, I was reading it, because I remember everything I read, a month and a half ago. I was more so paying attention to the art and what is actually going on in this story. In issue 21, which is the prologue to City Fall,
entirely illustrated by our own beloved Kevin Eastman.
Yes, exactly. Excuse me. Earlier this month, we had you and I had done Secret History of the Foot Clan, which I had originally thought that was going to be all Shredder and Takeshi and all 15th, 16th century Japan stuff. I didn't. When the Turtles showed up in that, I'm like, wait, what? I mean, I know it's a Turtles book. It says, I've got the trade right here. It says, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at the top, Secret History of the Foot Clan. But I honestly thought it was going to solely be a Shredder story, as I said in that episode that we recorded. So I'm kind of, even looking at the reading order, I remember when I first read issue 21, and maybe I'm forgetting issue 20, which I don't think I am, but I could be. When I first read issue 21, I'm like, wait, what? What in the hell is going on here? I was so confused that the first time I read this, because of what happens in the beginning. Mm-hmm. I like it. I think it's great, but I was just like, what the hell? Because it opens with the Turtles talking about, they're out training, and Leo says that, it's time for dinner, and they get to talking about how violent the city is compared to what it used to be, where it used to be mostly petty crime, but now it's just got this whole violent air to it now. And Mikey's like, guys? And we turn the page here, and there's this...
It's a juggalo.
Okay.
Wait, you're not from Michigan.
I was gonna say I don't think Rob Schneider could fill that role.
Insane Clown Posse.
Okay.
Their fan base. You know who they are? Have you heard of them?
Yes, I know who they are.
They're the clown rappers. The fans of Insane Clown Posse are called Juggalos, and they typically run around every day wearing the clown makeup. And I think with the little it kind of looks like that Harlequin mask sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was where the Juggalo joke came from. Sorry, I aimed that one over your head. That was not intentional.
Well, I was going to make a Rob Schneider Deuce Bigelow joke, but when you said that, now I like all the interaction here. I love Santaluco's art on this, and Eastman's.
No, this is Eastman's art. Yeah,
this is Eastman art. Okay, I'm sorry. I love Eastman's art here. I love how the turtles look. Not sure if they should have teeth, but okay. It's his baby. It's his property, etc., etc., etc. Well, it's not actually his property anymore, but you know what I mean. When I first read this, I was like, "Who the hell is this thing?" Or what the hell is this thing? And why the hell is it attacking the turtles after a training session out in the city? And while I love all of the dialogue back and forth between the turtles and this thing, because it never gives his name, never really gives them anything. It just keeps basically
beating the snot out of them.
Yeah, beating the snot out of them. But I was going to say, it never verbally tells them anything about itself. It just keeps poking them with a stick constantly. It's kind of like turtle prodding. It's basically taking an electric cattle prod and using it on a turtle. He starts off, look, mutant tadpoles. You fancy yourselves ninja, perhaps. Shall we find out what skills you have, little tadpoles? The only thing I can think of is, and I actually heard his voice with this character. You've seen the very first episode of the 2012 series, right?
Yes, probably the day it debuted, and that was the last.
Okay.
So I might miss this reference, but go ahead.
No, you'll get it. Lewis Black's character. He constantly calls the guy that eventually turns into Spider Bites.
I didn't realize that was Lewis Black. That's cool.
You didn't realize that? Oh man, as soon as I heard his voice, I knew that was him. He constantly calls them frogs in the cartoon series. And when I saw the tadpoles, I'm like, oh god, this is so Lewis Black from that episode. But this thing is basically just beating all four of them. Just heinously beating them. And it's very, very interesting. I know in the very, very beginning, way back when we did Volume 1, I was really hesitant about the art. Not necessarily because of Dan Duncan at the time, but because where I come from the cartoons, the original cartoon series and not the Mirage comics, I was like, well, I was like, oh, no, red, whatever. But now, looking at Eastman's art here, I absolutely love it.
It's interesting, his artwork. It didn't used to look like this. We've seen the old Mirage stuff. But when I met him at Detroit Fan Fair, he was doing convention sketches. He was doing them for free, which was why it took 6 hours to get through that line. But the way that he was doing them was with these very bold markers. He would sketch it out with a thin line marker, and then he'd go in with, just like a standard wedge-tipped something, and it was fast. And it looks... he's doing the same process with this. I can see... You can look at the pages and see the big, bold swipes of the thicker marker that's going on the areas. And then he's got this... Also, he's taking ink with a toothbrush and filling this kind of spatter in places. It makes it look very gritty. I almost don't like this colored. I think this would read better in black and white, and that's kind of where his history is working out in black and white, and then the duo shade technique that Mirage used for a while. I appreciate it because it's Kevin Eastman. I think this is what he does because he doesn't have a lot of time and is basically doing convention-level sketches for the book. And I don't know if it works as well in a story, in a panel. It works great for having a character study that you get to take home for $40, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think this should be... I think it would. Let me say this a different way. I think this would read better in black and white, and I think it's difficult to read in a story with the big blocks and chunks and the very apparent strokes. Saying all of those complaints, it's Kevin Eastman, and I'm so glad to see him illustrating an entire Ninja Turtle book. And because he's better at drawing than me, he can do it any way he wants, as often as he wants. So, I'm willing to straddle fences for the people I love, and there we go.
Wow, that must chafe.
A little bit.
So on the page where this character says, and that's all I can call him, ladies and gentlemen, is this character, this person that the Turtles are fighting, because we don't know who it is under the mask. Although it should be pretty self-evident, except he's missing his tail. So I guess somebody cut his tail off, or maybe he taped it to his back or something, and that should kind of give you a hint to who this is. But the whole time I was reading the words of this, I'm like, oh my god. They're like, you toads ever heard of the Filipino art of Kali? It's an extraordinarily effective fighting form using short sticks, much like these, perfect for multiple attacks. Shall I demonstrate after all? And he took, I cannot believe he did this. I really cannot believe he did this. He took poor Donatello's bow staff and broke it in half, and that's what the sticks are that he's talking about. But that panel that he says those on and has the sticks on there, I'm looking at this now. I didn't notice this when I first, like I said before, when I first sit down to read a trade or a comic, I pay attention to the story first and the art later.
Mm-hmm.
I did not notice the character's legs here. It's so obvious who this is. Like I said, his tail's missing, but it is so obvious who this is.
In the back of my issue, there is a concept sketch of him. Mm-hmm. He's called the Assassin.
Okay.
And they explain where things are and why he looks the way he does.
Oh, okay. That might be in the back of the trade, but
there you go.
I am not sure. So what do you think of this fight so far?
The thing that I absolutely love about this issue is as the assassin / their sensei, Master Splinter, in disguise, is beating the snot out of them. He's doing it with this martial art, then that martial art, then this martial art, and then he runs away from them, saying, your parkour is bad and you need to be better at it. And so he's taunting them through the city, taunting them through the sewers, beating them with, here's Kung Fu, he's using Chinese, he's using Savate, the French martial art, he's using, where is it? I believe there's some, what's the dancing one? It's on the tip of my tongue. We have some of it. There's a dojo in Grand Rapids that does it. Anyway, he's beating them handedly with all these different martial arts, taunting them around. I like that, who we will later discuss. Spoiler alert, it's too late now, guys. Yes. You shouldn't be listening to this podcast till you've read the book anyway, but
yeah.
It's Splinter took the time to learn all of these martial arts, and admittedly, when you get to be that level of a ninja master, learning a second martial art doesn't take as much time because a lot of the principles are the same. But I like that Splinter is the master of all of these things and that he has them to draw upon.
Yeah, and it's just, it's so awesome and interesting. And we finally get to the point where he basically, the assassin thinks that he is he's pretty much done with them, and he wants to meet their master. So, and that's the thing that threw me off about all this. Throughout this whole thing, when I was originally reading the story, he kept saying, okay, well, you're this, you're that, you need to learn this, you need to learn this, you need to learn this, blah, blah, blah. And now that I'm done with you, I want to go see your master.
Because he apparently really sucks if you're this bad.
If you're this bad, apparently he is the worst ninja master ever. And so we get to the point where Leo says that, understand this, the only way to our master is over our dead bodies. And then he reveals himself halfway on the middle panel. The only response I can only respond that I am honored, my sons. And all four of them are just like, what? And Splinter looked great, halfway revealed from under the mask here.
Yeah,
and then
the eternal problem of Splinter looking like a dog.
This is Kevin Eastman, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Why in the world would he make Splinter look like the big bad wolf from Hoodwinked? I mean, he looks like... I can hear Christopher Warburton's voice coming out of this design.
It's really hard to draw a rat. I've tried. It's hard.
Apparently so.
It's really hard.
Yeah, apparently so, I guess. I don't know. Were you shocked at the reveal, or did you... Like, when you first read this, were you shocked at the reveal? Yeah,
I didn't call it.
Oh, no. I didn't even notice it.
I was like, well, yippee, a new character is kind of where I was going, but I'm like, oh, it's just a old character.
Well, I was like, wait, did I miss something? That's why I was so confused at the beginning of this issue. I was like, because I had read 20, I read, obviously we read Secret History, and all that, and we get to this, and I'm like, wait, did I miss like a whole spotlight or something? What's going on here? So the next scene, we go to Japan, and it's Shredder and Karai and Dr. Miller.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Dr. Miller, the guy from Secret History who had the book.
Yep. So they're going back and forth, and I still don't. I guess we'll see it when we come up next. The next time we do one of these, when we talk about the second part of the villain micros. But as I'm reading these going along, and I don't even know if I noticed it when I originally first read Karai's one-shot, I still don't get how Saki is her grandfather and not her father. I'm sure I'm going to come to it once I reread Karai, the Karai one-shot, but it just, I don't know. Right now, it's like...
Do you want me to ruin it for you? Because it's not a big thing.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
He's not her father or her grandfather. He's just a distant relative because she's a Saki as well, but she's more distant, several generations. But when he wakes up, when he's reincarnated, he says, "Call me grandfather."
Yeah.
But she's just a family member who was in the Foot Clan in Japan.
Okay.
And the Foot Clan had gone all soft and became like just a business, and she didn't like it. And so she started to do the research and found out how to resurrect the actual Foot Clan and then started to bring it back.
Yeah.
So not a major reveal, but... doing some graveyard archaeology here at the end of this book.
Yeah.
The Dr. Miller's book leads them to a grave. They crack it open.
That's right.
And Shredder is reunited with Kitsune.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
No.
And she's glowing green, which means she was bathed in mutagen, or the weird green Utram ooze that keeps all of them alive.
Mm-hmm. So we then go back to New York City.
Well, now we're issue 2 in mine, or rather.
Okay, yeah. We're up to issue 22, I should say. Yeah, that must have been one hell of a thing to read this singly, to have the reveal of Kitsune at the end of the issue. Holy crap!
At that point, I was still missing a whole bunch of details from Secret History of the Foot Clan. I had missed so much because I'm an idiot and read at like a first grade reading level or something. So I'm again, I'm so glad to record this podcast and reread it and actually understand what I'm reading. So it has added to the enjoyment of this series entirely doing this podcast.
Mm-hmm. So we go back to New York City for the first part of issue 22, and this is really where City Fall begins.
Beginning of City Fall.
This is City Fall Part 1. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when I say City Fall Part 1 at the beginning of the podcast, I mean that's what they call the trade, because the City Fall is broken up into two trades, Volume 6 and Volume 7 of TMNT.
And I thought, and I have to go back and count them, but I thought it was about 12 issues long. It might have only been 8, but I thought it went for a whole year. Maybe it was a year because of the single one-shots that were coming out on off months. I might have been counting that.
Let's see. 21 through 24. 6. It goes through to 28, so 21 to 28. And then it ends with the Shredder micro series. It's about 7. No, yeah. City Fall itself is 7 parts, so it's 7 issues, plus all of the, if you count the 8 micros, it's 15 total.
Yeah, and I think I just want it to be 12 because if I remember correctly, City at War, the Mirage big event was, I think that was it was 13 parts. They had a resolution issue at the end of that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's see. Wait. Oh, this is... Okay, so we see Shredder and we see Shredder, and then where do we go from here? Let's see. We go to the ambulance. Oh, is this showing us what happened to Casey? The after effects, or who are those guys? Wait a minute.
You might be getting you're getting a flashback here. This is
right.
Shredder's talking about how the French Savate, another rival gang in the area, has a new leader, and they're doing crimes and beating up the Foot Clan, and he's not exactly happy with it. And so he's decided that the City Fall, what that term is that Shredder's going to bring down all the other gangs, either unite them under his banner or destroy them. And so he is embracing his destiny and going to take over this City of Light.
Yeah. I really wish that this was one of the covers. I almost wish that this was the trade cover. This full page where he does tell Kitsune, embrace our destiny. Mm-hmm. And it says City Fall Part 1 on above it in the stars. I really love how they did that. I even love how they incorporate the title of the story.
Yeah.
We'll get to it, but it is so friggin' cool.
Yeah, this is a beautiful panel. I'm enjoying this.
Oh yeah. Because this actually mirrors something that happened in Secret History at the end. Mirrors what happened at the end of Secret History.
When he wakes up all ooze covered. Oh my gosh, It's that City of Light I was foretold to be able to see.
Yep. So we get to Raph and Casey. They are outside a bar, Scara Bray, which is Angel's father's bar. Raph says he's getting bored of staring at your old man drinking the place dry. I think this is what I said last time when we were doing Secret History. I thought we might disagree on Bebop and Rocksteady, but I think it's where you and I are going to disagree on is who eventually Hun is revealed to be. Because I thought it was refreshing taking a character that people just wanted to beat the crap out of him because of what he did to his kid, and then turning him into... Because I've only ever seen Hun in the 2003 series. That's the only time
I think that's where he was created, or what he was created for.
Yeah.
In my imagination, he's a replacement for Tatsu, who they don't have rights to do.
Yeah. Maybe one of these days.
Maybe. Yeah, I doubt it. That's what fan art is for.
Well, they're also putting out that original movie. They're redoing that movie novelization thing. IDW is.
Huh, right.
So, if they're now, is that just a copy?
Yeah,
you think?
it's.
Oh, okay.
They might recolor it, but I don't even think they will.
Okay. So if that's just a copy of it, at least Tatsu will be there. But it's not going to be in a current design. Like he's not gonna have a new design like most of these do.
No, it'll be the same old. I don't even know who illustrated that old comic. It's in a box to my left here, but I'm not going to go dig for it right now.
So Casey and Raph get into a fight with the Foot Clan outside the bar. Casey gets knocked out, and Raph's like, "Stinking dirty foot scum, I'm gonna kick all your... Bring down the mutant. Bind his wrists and silence him." And they basically gag Raph. Wow. Foot Clan actually got Raphael to shut the hell up. Well, wait. No, that would probably be Mikey sometimes, that they would want to do that too. So they basically take Casey, they leave Raph, and they take Casey and leave his hockey mask there on the ground. No, wait, did they... No, they did take... Where the hell is Casey?
They took him too. They're taking him to the other van.
Okay. I was thinking there, I'm like, okay, I see Casey's mask, so I know they took Casey. I thought they originally just left Raph, but no, he's in there too. He eventually breaks out, and he jumps off the bridge. And all I can think of is those 4 shells bobbing up at the end. All I can think of is the 4 shells bobbing up at the end. Man, I love being a turtle.
Oh, lines like that make the adult self cringe. Makes the
What?
12-year-old self of me quote it for 3 months, but
Come on.
I don't know.
Say what you want about the whole plot line of Secret of the Ooze. There was some really damn good lines in that movie.
I've tried to watch that again, and I got to the scene where they're fighting over the ooze container at the lab, and they're playing football with it.
Yep.
And I look at how serious the first movie was, and then Tatsu and the Foot end up just being laughably non-violent to each other, and it's really sad to me. It's not. They got a lot of crap for the first movie being dark and violent, so they brightened it up. Mikey uses salami as nunchucks instead of actual nunchucks. And as an adult, going back and watching that, the kid me liked that. The adult me can't get by that scene. And someday, I don't know, there'll be a reason to go back and watch. When my son wants to watch it, that's when I'll go back and do that. I mean, oh God, the musical number with Vanilla Ice, I just can't do it.
Hey, but he's been a huge supporter ever since, though.
Yeah.
I saw him. He shelled out a lot of money to get some of the toys on an episode of Toy Hunter. A lot. He was looking for really rare stuff, and he gave Jordan Himborough, I don't know, something like maybe $3,500 for a lot of different rare stuff. I don't remember the whole episode, so don't quote me.
I'm gonna have to go back and find that episode because there are very few Ninja Turtle collectibles that are $3,500. I mean, I'm sure he got a lot of them. But...
No. A total. He spent a total of I think $3,500, $4,000 or something. I forget.
I'm just dying to find out if he bought anything I had sitting on a shelf over here, and oh, dude, Vanilla Ice, you overpaid. I'll charge you half of it, and then I'll go on to eBay and buy 2 of them.
So we go back to the lair. Donnie and April are sitting at the computer. Leo and Master Splinter are fighting, and you know what? Honestly, he looks more like a rat here than he did in the previous issue.
Yeah, there's experimentation. I think the first key to making him look like a rat is to give him round ears. When you give him round ears, he looks less like Splinter because Splinter's always had pointy ears, back to the cartoon. and the Mirage run, but I've looked at pictures of rats. They definitely have round ears, and I think that helps. And the blunted nose is I don't think his face should be as long as people tend to like to draw it.
Right.
I tell you, yeah, I think David Peterson's the only person who gets it right, but still, just because of the way he draws, everything looks 3 inches tall because of his style. But I like his Splinter. But I like this Splinter too, both in the last issue and this scene here where he's training with Leonardo. They're using Shanai, and he's Parang, and they're talking about where the strikes are coming from and how they're blocking them. And I like to see a mobile Splinter. I like that he's actually an active martial artist and can do the things that he does and doesn't need the cane that he's so often pictured with. And I always appreciate authentic training martial arts things in these books and in the cartoon. So this scene made me smile, and I wish there were more of them.
So Raph and Leo start another fight with each other. We get to Leo saying, whoa, hold on. If they ambushed you, then it was obviously a trap. And if they know you escaped, then they've got to be expecting a rescue. I've always liked them fighting, but Leo and Raph are not. Like, I like Raph's sarcasm, and I like his anger sometimes, but Leo and Raph are not my favorites. I don't dislike them, but Mikey and Donnie are so much more enjoyable. At least for me, they are.
They're the happy-go-lucky ones. I think.
Yeah.
I've always been drawn to Leo and Raph, and I think it's because of their rivalry, and I'm drawn to Leo because he's kind of got
leader.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the leader thing or if it's the responsibility. I think that I like, and the dedication. I think that's where my Leo fascination comes from, and I don't know. I don't relate to angry people like Raph, and I don't tolerate angry people like Raph, but he's a good dichotomy for Leo. He's a good person to bounce the ideas off of. This is the series though where I've liked Mikey the most out of any other incarnation, so I can't complain about that either.
Yeah. So Raph and Leo fight because Raph wants to go after the Foot because they took Casey while he escaped. And Splinter says, "You are both correct. Casey Jones is part of our family, and we must save him. But we would be foolhardy to do so in reckless fashion. We must be quick. We must also be cautious. Rest assured, Raphael, we will do everything in our power to rescue your friend." And on that panel is where we get Karai and Alopex down by the dock of the bay with a knocked out Casey Jones. Oh boy. And every time I see April's Van, they are making it more and more movie aesthetic. I swear to God.
Well, the movie aesthetic, it's that throwback to the actual Mirage Volkswagen, and so I'm glad those little nods are good, and the movie was nodding to the comic book when they made the yellow bottomed, the two-tone yellow Volkswagen
white,
Beetle,
yeah.
Gosh, watch, somebody's going to write it and say it wasn't yellow, it was light blue.
No, it was yellow.
It was yellow? Okay, good.
Yeah, no, it was yellow. So we get Splinter and the Turtles with April. They have reached their destination because they've tracked Casey to this dock. And Splinter says, "Miss O'Neill, until we understand exactly what we are facing, I must ask that you stay behind." And she says, "No problem." She wants, Raph to stay safe and, please get Casey back. And, we see this really close upshot look on Raph's face, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I will." And oh, that's right, because that's where this is. It's back at the bar. So, see, I thought the dock was. I thought they took Casey to a separate place, but it seems like because if Angel's right there, she's coming out of the bar. So it's over by the Scrab Bray or whatever the bar's name is, because she says, "What the hell?" And the Turtles have a plan of attack of Donnie and, I believe that's Donnie and Mikey going underwater. Or might be all four. I only see Donnie and Mikey.
Nope, the others are on the roof.
Yeah. Donnie and Mikey are in the water, and Raph and Leo and Splinter are on the roof. And Raph says, "Surprised it's just Karai, that stupid fox. We can take them." "Patience, Raphael. The Foot is purposely allowing us undefended access. This is a trap. But it looks like Casey's hurt. We can't just stand here doing nothing." And I don't like Leo saying that. Damn is Raphael's word, damn it.
Well, then Splinter says it.
I know. This is not, "I made another funny." So Shredder shows up. The next page, the next panel, we get Angel basically taking what looks like a policeman's nightstick and rapping on April's window.
Those are Kali sticks. The things that Splinter broke in half. She's a Kali artist.
So they so April and Angel have a conversation, Angel says, "Okay, I gotta go help him. Casey's the only reason I ain't in jail or dead right now." And see, that's the one thing I do like, that Angel is trying to make the Dragons, like, the Dragons just aren't a gang under Shredder's thumb, like they were in the 2003 cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
I like the differences here, where she's trying to make the... And that's the beautiful thing with Angel and her dad and Casey and his dad. They have two very different fathers that used to be buddies, and we'll find this out next time, but, that took two very different paths, and so, Angel, between Angel's leadership and the old leadership of the Purple Dragons, it's so different, and it's so it's so interesting to me to see that. So we get to Shredder. Karai tells him that they are here. And he says, "I know you were out there, Hamato Yoshi. Why do you delay coming to the aid of your fallen comrade? Why do you hide?"
"Because I'm not stupid." He doesn't actually say that, but that's what he's thinking.
Yes.
Well, then Shredder gives him a reason to come down there.
Yeah. And this is what makes what happens next time so much more tragic. This is why I love the Hun story so much, because what happens right here makes everything after this so much more tragic when it comes to Casey.
I can't wait to... I haven't reread Hun yet. I need to do that.
So Shredder basically runs Casey through. Your comrade is now severely wounded, and Raph is just like, "No!"
Done. Flip the switch.
Yeah. It's like, I know I shouldn't view Raph like this, but whenever you tick Raph off in this, it's kind of like Bane punching his, or pressing his Venom button to bulk up. It's every time I see Raph go from kind of sarcastic, I wouldn't say easygoing, but kind of sarcastic angry turtle to, oh my god, Raphael is a raging bull angry turtle.
Well, whenever Raph goes off like this, I expect something really bad to happen because that's not the condition you want to be fighting in.
Oh no, absolutely not.
You need to have that Leonardo Zen clear mind, and so as you know, he just stabbed Casey Jones with his fist daggers. I'm waiting for something to happen to Raph because he's so out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And they just gutted Casey, and so at this point in the book, first time I'm reading it, I'm going, "Oh my god, they can do anything to anybody now." I mean, we know they're not going to kill off a turtle, but they might stab a turtle in the belly, with some fist gauntlets here. So it's kind of gets you nervous reading through the rest of this fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Because so we get. Raph at the bottom of the panel here is like, that bastard stabbed him! Raphael, calm yourself. Focus. Listen to Father, Raph. I'm gonna kill him! And, all hell's breaking loose. Come on, Mikey. We gotta get Casey. Donnie and Mikey have been in the water the whole fucking time! Wow. And Shredder's like, amphibious assault, clever strategy, albeit predictable one. Or reptiles, you doofus. I love Mikey. And then Donnie, this is why I love Donnie and Mikey so much. Or reptiles, doofus. That's not what he meant, Mikey.
That's a good... I wish there were more banter like that between the two of them. It'd make them an even more lovable pair.
I'm waiting, and I should have asked Bobby this when we did the interview, and I know it's really more of a question for Tom Waltz. I'm just waiting for somewhere in this story, because I'm current right now. I'm waiting for the next issue, whatever the next issue is going to be. I'm current at this point in the reading order, and I'm just waiting for a scene between Don. I know Don and Casey they're not as close as what they were in the original film. I just want a truck scene with the alphabet. If they gave me a truck scene with Donnie and Casey calling each other names basically based off the alphabet, I would just absolutely die. It would be just so awesome, an awesome comedic moment. Angel sees Casey. Splinter tells Leo to resist his other brothers, that Splinter will stay with Raph. And Raph's basically like, I'm gonna rip you apart, blah, 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 going after, Shredder. And cries like, our target is in the open, Halifax. You know what to do. Yes, keep the prey separated from the herd. Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, they're not going after Raph. The whole point of this entire the whole point of kidnapping Raph, kidnapping Casey here, is, even though Splinter has said already that it's one big giant, trap, it's not a trap for Raph or Casey. It's a trap for Leo. Dun dun dun. Come on, Mikey, forget this guy. Yes. See you around, Pinhead. He says, yes, you will. Again, the art. Absolutely amazing art. Really, really love it. And now, do you think if Raph wasn't so enraged over Casey's, I don't want to say death, but injury, you think if he wasn't so enraged, he would actually have his head together to be able to see that they're going after Leo?
I think the entire group is completely preoccupied. Splinter's not paying attention. Mike and Don aren't paying attention. They're all so interested in getting their bleeding comrade out of there. It was, I think, a perfect strategy on the Shredder's part to divide and conquer like this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. And they do the exact same thing. They knock Leo out. I believe Alopex does it. She knocks him out or hits him with something. He drops his swords. Karai says, "It is done, Master." "Yes, Karai, I see. Excellent." And the Foot Clan basically just, ninja vanish, and the only thing they leave behind is Leo's sword. Kind of like what they did with Casey's mask earlier.
And it's not until they get into April's van with a bleeding Casey Jones to the... Wait a minute, dudes, Leo's not here. And wait, what?
Yep. Oh, man.
So they can't even go back and chase him down. They got to get Casey to the hospital, and Leonardo's gone.
Yep. Casey's dying, and that's how that issue ends. And for issue 20...
Oh, good colors, Rhonda Pattinson. Casey's really pale. Good job.
He looks like a corpse, actually. He looks like something you'd see in a Law and Order morgue slab, honestly. Like one of those cop TV show morgue slabs. Wow. Wow, she turned Casey Jones into an albino.
You know what I get that you don't get in the back of my issues? I get letters columns.
Yes.
I need to go back and read all the letters columns in this when I gotta finish. I'm reading Tales of the Turtles Volume 2, 1 through 72. That's my bedtime reading. When I'm done with that, I think I'll go back and read all these letters columns. Maybe my letter even made it into the book and I didn't even read it. Maybe that. But, I wrote a new one after our interview with Bobby. I'm hoping whoever does that looks at it and says, "Hey, it's that dude that interviewed Bobby. Let's put that in." Fingers crossed. I doubt it, but it's worth hoping. Oops. I'm on to my issue 23 now.
Yeah, we're up to issue 23 now.
And I dropped my Ninja Claw. My Shredder Gauntlet, that's what that was. Sorry, listeners.
I hope to God it didn't injure
It
anything.
missed my foot, but it did fall into the cluster of wires I have plugged into the laptop. I was a little worried.
That's not cool. Alright, so we're up to issue 23, City Fall Part 2. You should have read Old Hobbs Villain Micro Series before this in the reading order because issue 23,
That's right.
Old Hob leads into this. So the events of this actually started in the Old Hob Micro Series single issue, or Spotlight, or whatever you want to call it. And again, I love how they do the layouts for the title.
That's very Will Eisner and the Spirit. I love that. I don't know if that's an homage or if that's just something that you do nowadays, but City Fall is spelled out in the city lights. We're almost there. They're going to the hospital. Conversation inside the van, and then Part 2, City Fall Part 2, is also in the city lights behind them in the buildings. Like, how brilliant, like 2 panels later you get that. That's some neat design. I love that stuff.
Absolutely.
That's why I can't make a comic book. I'm not that clever. I got a whole bunch of people saying, like, "Dude, I love the way you draw turtles. You should totally do a comic." Yeah, but doing layouts like this is a total different thing from doing just a boring character sketch. This is beautiful work.
Yeah, it really, really is. It absolutely is. So we get to the hospital, and obviously the animals in the van can't go in.
I wonder if there was a conversation here where they're like, "Dudes, he was stabbed in the chest with ninja blades. How are we going to explain that to the hospital?" He fell on our, I don't know, he fell on our pizza cutter. He fell on he fell inside the blender. I don't know.
Blended Jones? No, thank you. You want crumpets with that?
You understand what a crumpet is before you understand cricket.
Yep. So we get this thing here where April says coast clear. I'm going to head inside and see if I can help in any way. Thank you, Miss O'Neill. We must go. Donatello and Michelangelo are searching for Leonardo with orders to meet us at the lair in 1 hour. We then flip-flop to Shredder and Karai returning to the Foot Clan hideout. And what do you require next, Grandfather? There is nothing I need from you, Karai. You're both dismissed. We then... And I... As much as I'm not... I love the story, but I'm just not really... I don't know. As City Fall progresses, I like what they did with it for like an interesting dynamic kind of thing, but at the same time, it breaks my damn heart. But I love this juxtaposition of Casey on the table and Leo on the table. It's like Karai went in and stole a hospital gurney. So
they ordered one from IKEA, I'm sure, through the legitimate business front of the Foot Clan.
Yeah, right.
Sounds like a funky club for podiatrists. I just Foot Clan podiatry.
God, and the juxtaposition continues on these 2 pages here, where the top half is everything that's going on with Casey, the bottom half is everything that's going on with the, Kitsune and Shredder and Leo.
Splinter! I'll cut you down, Master!
I must congratulate you.
It's the same guys we fought last night.
You passed your test with flying colors.
Test? What test?
Your hairy little friend knows me as Oroku Saki. But you may call me the Shredder.
A kitchen utensil?
You would be wise to lose your flippant ways if you wish to join the Honorable Foot Clan.
So the juxtaposition of these of the 2 events of this story here continue on these next 2 pages. The top half is Casey, what's going on with him. The doctor says, your friend's pretty bad shape, miss. Mind telling me what happened? I already told that other guy he got mugged and stabbed. Let me guess, the mugger had a sword, right? We've been getting a lot of these kind of muggings lately, you know. The sword kind, and I'm wondering why that is. No answer, huh? Well, wait here if you want. I need to go save your friend's life. And that's when April comes in, and they go to look at Casey, and he, oh my god, that wound. Yeah, dude, you don't want to be messing with your...
No, I don't. I really don't. I mean, this is like a warning message right here. I have the piece of equipment, and you know, I cut my finger on it while I was polishing.
Jesus!
But the funny part is I didn't cut myself on the blade. I had it on the polishing wheel, and the polishing wheel grabbed it and spun it around, and the blunt end hit me and split my fingers. Like, well, at least I didn't cut my finger off, and I hadn't put the edges on it yet. I still maybe they won't get any sharper than they are now, which is to say, not extraordinarily sharp at all.
Oh my god, dude!
But
come on, seriously?
I felt I was very scared when it nailed me.
That's crazy. That is
okay.
I know you said you're responsible, but Jesus Christ, you need to stop making those right now.
I know.
All right, so we get to the bottom half of these 2 pages. You understand how important the next phase is. Yes, Kitsune. Of course, we'll deliver the faithful and adept Chunin you desire, just as conquered Death's Dark Dominion to bring you this new age. Obviously, see Secret History of the Foot Clan. Your ultimate destiny is within reach, Saki, I promise. Now, see, this is where... Have you seen the Dolph Lundgren Masters of the Universe movie?
Yes, I think that's brilliant. I maybe need to watch it with an adult eye, but I enjoy it quite a bit.
Okay, well, in that movie, in case you hadn't seen it, for the listeners who haven't seen it, in that movie, Evelyn plays a trick on Courtney Cox by turning herself into Courtney Cox's character's mother. And this, I know Masters of the Universe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are two very different things, but Jesus Christ, if Kitsune doesn't pull that exact same trick with Leo as we continue through City Fall, because it sets it up right here, where he says, "You understand how important this next phase is. Of course, I will deliver the faithful and adept Chunin you desire, just as I conquered Death's dark dominion to bring you to light to a new age." So she is going to basically screw with Leo's head as we go along in this. And this is where, when I kept saying in Secret History, this is where I kept kind of getting confused about the difference between Kitsune and Tang Shin, because of what she does to corrupt Leo.
The way that I interpret what's going on is, and I don't know, it's nerd argument here, doesn't matter really, but I think Leo is constructing the dream that she's just guiding it, and I think Leo is manifesting his mom in this, that it's not her speaking, but kind of Kitsune is controlling what's coming out of her mouth and what Splinter does to kind of steer him toward the darkness. But yeah, anyway. Hey, she's got her fox mask. She hasn't put that. Yes, she does. She does put that on.
Yeah, she was buried with that.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the coffin when they first resurrected her.
Yeah. I'm glad she still got that. I was afraid that they were going to de-supernaturalize her in the future, in the present day, I suppose. I'm glad they did not.
What is that line from the original film? At the end, the guy that says, "Go check out the warehouse." What is the line?
It's go check out that warehouse on Lairdman Island. Because Lairdman, that was Eastman and Laird, and that was kind of like, hey, nod, guys.
That's what it was. It was, "Go check out the warehouse on East Lairdman Island." That's what it was.
Yep.
I wish they would have used this. I know Hob is not that smart, but I wish they would have used that here, where he's spray painted "East River Midnight, I can help you."
Do you know who delivers that line in the movie?
Not off the top of my head.
I believe, and now I might be getting his name wrong, in which case I'll feel awful. Sam Rockwell, the actor.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay, you talk about Old Hob for a minute while I'm gonna.
I've got to go IMDb this too. Make sure I got his name right.
Oh, seriously? No way. Sam.
Yeah. Yep.
Are you? Wow, that's yeah.
I crapped my pants when I saw that as an adult. Kind of, wait a minute, it's that dude from Green Mile.
Yeah, head thug. Yep. Wow, that's crazy. Sam Rockwell. The only thing I had really seen him in, like, I wouldn't say legitimately, but like for me seeing him, I think the only thing that I really saw him in was as Justin Hammer in Iron Man 2.
Yep.
And he is so different in that than he, obviously it's X number of years, it's nearly, what is it, 20 years later? Something like that. It's nearly, from Turtles to Iron Man 2, it's exactly 20 years. And yeah, wow. Because, damn.
Merry Christmas. There you go. It's something to enjoy.
But I wish they would have used that.
Yes, I agree. I kind of wish Burnow Island was Lairdman Island. I think that would have been.
No, I don't.
We gotta give our nod to Bobby, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that. I like the nod that, because we never did get to ask him about it, but when I first read that, I'm like, wait, whoa, he's got a place named after him. That's pretty awesome. So we've got we've got Kitsune here, who is basically saying, I pose no threat to you. I am simply here to guide you, to uncover your eyes and show you the true menace that lurks within the darkest shadows of your life, and reveal to you where your ultimate salvation lies. I still think her dark arts are fucking with his mind. I really do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I while you say that it's his dream, it might be his dream, but I really do think she is in full control of what he is seeing.
I think she's in control of the message. He's in control of the symbolism.
Okay.
Now we're getting weird and obscure, but that's what I imagine these things to work like, because then it becomes more effective. She would have to guess what terrifies him. He knows, so she's kind of putting, you're going to be terrified, and then he completes that image. That what would hurt his feelings most is what he's creating.
Right. Yeah.
And the beautiful thing, she dives into his brain. We turn the page, and it's Dan Duncan's art. I love the way when they flash back, flash forward, do whatever they need to do. It's they go get the artist from that era, and then they play with it. I think that's beautiful. And I love Dan Duncan's art. It's probably my favorite Ninja Turtle art ever.
Yeah.
Although Santa Luca's pretty awesome too, but yes.
She says, and where better to start, young Leonardo, than the beginning of the lies. My son, you need not fear. I will always protect you from harm. Where is your gratitude? And it's basically this super deformed version of Splinter.
Who looks more like a rat than any other way we've ever seen Splinter drawn, right?
Oh, yeah. And he is basically, he's the villain here. Shredder comes in. It's all right, Leonardo. I am here now. And she's basically morphing Leo's mind, saying that Shredder is the hero, Splinter is the villain. And I don't remember. Have we had Mousers before?
Yeah, because they were the military bomb drones with the ridiculous acronym.
Yeah, I remember now. But these Mousers, oh my god. These things, oh wow. So crazy. So in this dream, Shredder saves Leonardo. He says, a true sensei knows what is needed when danger approaches. Always action, never words. Now run, child, run.
Run! We have another artist to highlight on the next page. Run!
Oh, wow. This is extreme. Yeah, this is Wade. And this, who is the artist in this? On this page?
I was hoping you'd remember, because I don't. It's the artist of the... he comes back and does the New Hampshire run, the Massachusetts.
Ross Campbell?
Yes, it's his art.
Okay. Yeah,
before his turtle legs got gigantic.
But this is not where... This is the start of his baby head egg-shaped turtles.
Yes. Still the original, old school. I can't remember what story arc he illustrated.
No. This is like the new kiddified version. This is where it looks to me, this is where it starts. Where I said to you off air, when we get to Northampton eventually, that I don't like the designs on the turtles. This is where it kind of started with their heads. Because if you look at, I think is that...
I think it might be because he's not wearing his bandana in this. I think that's why it looks weird. But the weird elongated proportions that happen in Northampton aren't here in this yet.
Yeah.
But what story arc did he start with? I'm forgetting.
Oh, man.
1 through 12 was Dan Duncan. What happened after that?
1 through 12 was Dan Duncan. 13 was Sins of the Father. 13 through 14 was Sins of the Father. And then 15 and 16 was Blood Brothers.
Gosh, I can't... Okay,
and
it's right on my head. I can go look. Okay. La la la.
Don't drop your
No, that's tucked away safely now.
Good.
I can't. I haven't cleaned up my order yet since I've been rereading them. Burnham, Burnham Santaluke. Yeah, it's upstairs. Never mind, listeners. But either way, he's flashing back through these recent events, seeing them through the light of Kitsune's poison, and whenever they're addressing this particular bit in history and rewriting it for him, they're going back to the artists who did those runs in the books, which is bloody genius.
Oh no, it is good. It is nice. I mean, I don't mind when a book like the IDW Transformers ongoings will do this. They'll have one artist on the present day stuff, and they'll have one artist on the past stuff. I don't mind that. What I mind is if you're currently doing an all present day story, and if you have one issue that's one artist and the next issue is another, that's where
we've talked about that before.
Yeah,
Well, I'm reading a book that I just recently stopped pulling where it would change within the issue. And it was, we're not going to make the deadline. Go get your friend, your cousin Lenny, to finish this book because, dude, we got to have it done. And then it looks terrible. But I think they do that for scheduling reasons in the IDW series, but they plan ahead for it. They make it make sense like this. And I love them. I really, absolutely. IDW is a special publishing company right now, even though they're doing old stuff. And I know that they've gotten crap from people in letters columns because they're rehashing all these old properties. They're doing it with love, and they're doing it with, style like this, where they're deliberately flashing back to previous artists, doing neat things like that. You don't see that in a lot of slightly more mainstream books.
So let me ask you, how old do you think April is here?
20.
Because next to Angel, she doesn't look 20. Angel looks like a mid-20s. April looks like she's 17 in this. I mean, I know the whole point of this art in this hospital scene is to show that April is really sad about Casey, but the top panel here where it's April and Angel sitting next to each other, Angel looks so much older than April.
I think Angel's just a beast. I think she's gigantic and powerful.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. You read the Metalhead issue, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something that I think a lot of people missed, and I won't spoil that for the listeners.
We'll get to that once we get to it. So they have a nice touching moment checking in on Casey, and we then go back to Leo's brainwashing. That's the best term I can use for this, because she is essentially brainwashing him. We see him fighting Slash.
This guy's art reminds me of Mignola.
Mike Mignola,
yep.
Yeah.
In a good way.
No, yeah. And, part of this page is Leo saying, please help Leo, please, he's gonna kill us. Nobody. Holy, did you guys see that? Bye, Leo. Boom. And losing his brothers basically just tips him over the edge. And this is where Kitsune basically makes his mind break. And that's when he kind of, I believe he wakes up, right? Yeah. No, maybe he doesn't.
But I think he's about to. I think
he's
that's
about to. That's
the foom on the last panel is bright lights and awareness.
Yeah. So we get to Splinter and the other three turtles, and they're gonna go meet old Hob. Didn't think you'd show. And Raph's like, Slash, I knew Leo didn't kill him, and now we know how Hob found the church. So Hob is basically, he wants their help. He wants Splinter's help to get something. He wants Splinter's help to get basically mutagen. And we then go back to Leo's dream, and this is freaky. How they turn the whole scene from the beginning of this series, or not the issue, the prologue, issue 21. How they turn on it's freaky. It is just freaky.
Very Eastman's art.
Yeah, but it is so freaky how the assassin is in red instead of what he was originally in for colors, and the fact that if Splinter's nose, like if his whole mouth was a little bit longer, I would swear he's the friggin' Aardvark from Pink Panther, Ant and the Aardvark, right there, where it says "No Hamato Yoshi, Glurk" at the top right. I swear to God, if it was just a little bit longer, it'd be the Aardvark.
I don't think I've read that.
No, it's a cartoon.
Okay.
I'll show you a video later.
Okay, now he wakes up.
Now he wakes up. Yeah. And then, yeah. This is where Kitsune puts the black mask on him. Now, is this Slash's mask?
Okay, not yet.
No. But I thought Slash already had a black mask.
Nope. Because Leo gives it to him as a parting gift.
Okay, yeah. And that's how issue 23 ends. Is him waking up in the black mask. And issue 24, I believe, I'm going to have to look, but I believe this is... Yes, you would have need to have read Karai before issue 24.
Which I haven't read that yet either.
No, wait. I'm looking at the order here. No, you need to... No, 24, then Karai. That's what it is. Sorry.
Okay, good. Then I'm doing it in the right order.
Yeah, you're all right.
But I don't know where Karai is. I'm in trouble here. I gotta track that down.
So we start issue 24 with Karai. She's basically training her baguettes off. And
I'm gonna use that line. Training her baguettes off. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Because it's those. It's the tatami rolls.
Yeah.
Interesting point of fact, because I'm a nerd. Those rolls, what they're tatami mats that are rolled up in Japan. That's what a lot of the flooring is. It's the rice straw wrapped and woven tightly together. Okay, here we go. The guy who played Tatsu, the real name is Toshishiro Obata. He invented the process of test cutting swords with tatami mats. When he was doing Tameshigiri, the practical sword cutting, they used to use straw wrapped around bamboo, and I don't know if it was expensive or if it was labor intensive, but he's walking home from the dojo one day by a tatami mat factory, and in the dumpster are all these used tatami mats. He starts taking them, he rolls them up, he puts them on a post and starts cutting them, and now that's all you use to test cut with practical swords now. So when any of the you see those cutting exercises on YouTube, it's Toshishiro Obata, the guy who played Tatsu in the Ninja Turtle movie, who invented that process. And since he invented it, and that's what his martial art is practical swordsmanship. He's like won the championship. He's ridiculously precise with a 3-foot piece of steel in his hands. It's scary watching him do what he does. There are YouTube videos if you're interested in checking that out, listeners. Toshishiro Obata test cutting, or Toshishiro Obata Shin Kendo, and you'll see him doing his art. But that's exactly what Karai is doing here in panel 1. She's cutting tatami mats.
Yep. She says, "Grandfather, I did not know you were watching me. Your technique, Korean, yes? Jimomu, I believe is what he's saying. I don't
know my Korean pronunciations. He's checking the cutting angle, what he's doing with his hand there.
Yes. Yes, Grandfather, it's one of many forms I use when training. I see. Training has ended for today. The time has come to use your katana for something more important than dancing about. And he asks her if she's prepared, and she says, "Of course, I'm ready, Master Shredder. If I may ask, how can you be certain that the mutants will find us?" And at the bottom,
That's a great panel too. He just knows. Like, I've already got that worked out, Kurai. City Fall Part 3. My favorite thing about these 2 pages here is, well, Page, I guess, because that's the first time we see him. He's outside of his armor, and he looks normal.
Yep.
I think that is a brilliant way to handle Shredder, that he doesn't need to be in that armor all the time. And I don't know. Do you think he becomes less vulnerable in this? Is he he's more human in this? He's not. I don't know. It's just nice to see it like this.
He's more human, but you can clearly see he's a damaged man. I mean, yes, he is very confident in that image, but look at that scar.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just, a rat jumping up and biting and gnawing on your cheek. That's somebody slicing you from your forehead down to almost your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that scar on his left eye. Oh my God. Like, I don't even know. I'm going to have to look at him again in the armor and see if that's even visible on his eye. Because look at where the scar is, right under his eye.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember if I can see, if you can see that when he has the armor on.
When he's walking around confidently like this, he wore the armor in the movie because he was hiding his face, and whenever he had it off, everybody's like, "Oh, his face, dude!" Whoa! But in this, he's wearing the armor because it's part of the regalia. He doesn't need that armor to be a deadly mofo.
Oh no!
I think
not
that's
at all.
Kind of what's interesting about.
But that's what I'm saying. Looking at him without the armor on here, it's interesting to me that I have not yet noticed with him wearing it in this book series that I have not noticed part of that scar. So that's what I'm wondering. Does the armor, does the helmet cover the entirety of it? That's what I'm wondering. So we get to Casey. He's still in the hospital. He's dreaming about his mom.
I love that the theme of these books is family.
Family, yeah.
I think that's a beautiful way to take the Turtles.
Absolutely. So April is like, "Angel, I think he's waking up." "Oh, Casey, thank God!" And he hugs her, or she hugs him, and the look on his face is like, "Who are you again?" And Angel in the background on that left panel, she just has this sly smile on her face. I'm glad they didn't.
I know. Go ahead. You first.
I'm so glad they didn't pull a Jerry Springer.
The love triangle thing?
I'm so happy they did not do that.
I'm really surprised they didn't, but I'm glad that they didn't.
Well, with Angel, she has said that, she owes Casey her life. He saved her, without him she wouldn't be. So while they may have a romantic past at one point or another, I'm glad that April is his here and now.
And she's over it to a point where it doesn't bother her. That there's not going to be that drama.
Yeah. I still think April looks like a friggin' teenager in this book. Come on, artists. Make her look a little bit more, early to mid-20s, please. I mean, because she looks like a 7-year-old sitting... Gah, I feel like crud. What happened? You almost died, that's what happened. Yeah, Jones, next time you need attention, do us all a favor and write a poem or something.
Don't get stabbed by that ninja dude with blades on his hand. Come on.
But that middle panel where April is leaning on his bed rest there, she looks like a friggin' 7-year-old. I don't like it.
It's the size of her forehead.
It's the size of her entire face. Honestly, she looks
and
like...
a short chin. That's what does it.
I mean, I don't know. It just bugs the crap out of me. And what's going to bug the crap out of me more is what we did mention this to Bobby in the interview. Later down the line, she's going to cut her hair. Anyway, so April and Casey and Angel all have this discussion, and Casey's like, Casey says, "Oh man, Raph, we got jumped by the foot," and April says he disappeared after their big fight with Shredder and Karai. Disappeared? What are you? Because he tries to get up out of the hospital bed.
The stitches don't.
Yeah. Yeah. The stitches don't. So we go back to Old Hob, the Turtles, and etc. I love this page here. These 4 panels.
Mm-hmm.
Because of how the night sky is against the characterizations of the Turtles and the Old Hob. It looks so cool. It really does. And okay, look at Donnie and tell me that is not an egg shape with his bandana on. Like, look at Raph, look at Donnie. Donnie's head looks like a giant green egg with a purple bandana on it. I'm telling you, listeners, right now, in the future recordings of this, I'm going to be complaining about the egg-shaped heads for a long time because I don't like the design. I'm sorry. So, what is Hob having them do? Go in and steal something?
I'm trying to figure that out. I wonder if does he have him?
Yeah, let's see.
Oh,
here.
no, he screws them here. He hasn't gotten his payment yet. He's taken them to where they can find Leonardo.
Oh, yeah, I remember that now. And they're like, wait, where's Mikey? And he's over there trying to make friends with Slash. I love Mikey. First the pizza guy, and now Slash. I love Mikey. And Mikey actually teaches him. And I really do dig that. So we get to this warehouse. Old Hob sets them up, locks them in, and he walks away saying, "But I sure as hell ain't no dummy." And this is where they meet Shredder, Karai, Alopex. And this is where Shredder and Splinter kind of face off. Splinter says, "We are here for my son, Orokosaki. For Leonardo, we have been told you hold him prisoner. We demand his immediate return. Blood need not be shed this day, but be aware, we will use all means necessary to retrieve our loved one."
You know, the Turtles have faced off with Shredder 2 or 3 times like this now. They walk into a room, and there's Shredder kind of at a dais at the front in an elevated platform with a chair. And you know how much easier it would be if the Turtles just brought a pistol to that, because then ninjas are assassins. I don't know if they really care what tools they use, but they're sticking to their sticks and their swords. They got to get close to them. It'd just be so much easier if they pow, and then you're all done. You don't have to worry about the Shredder screwing with your family anymore. But that's being being a dork.
That knockdown drag out fight does come.
Well, yeah. I'm not griping at how they're handling it, because this makes for a much more interesting story. Yeah. But I think I felt like, gosh, if they just brought a gun to that, he could be tap done, and then and I don't know. In several of the different versions of the Turtles, they've ended up killing Shredder. They've successfully defeated him, and I wonder if we're going to see that and if the story will continue, because, man, does he need to go down. He's such a dangerous guy, especially in this incarnation. He's so dangerous to keep around. It's not a good idea to keep him around.
Oh, absolutely not. No. So we get We get the Foot Clan, and wait, is that a flashback? It must be a flashback because it looks like a young Saki.
Where?
Wait a minute. The page after.
No, this is the actual city at war here. This is the foot soldiers
the gangs.
out the gangs, yeah.
The gangs, okay. We go back to
because we forget that's what the city fall is. It has very little to do with kidnapping Leo and the Turtles. It's Shredder taking over the city.
Yeah. Shredder says, sadly, however, you will not be alive to witness my ultimate triumph, Yoshi. Tonight, I end the nuisance you have presented to me over 2 lifetimes. And Yoshi says, you are sorely mistaken if you believe for even 1 second that I care for your criminal wars or your arrogant threats. Return my son to me, Oroko Saki. Your son is no more, Yoshi. This cannot be. Hear me now, devil. If I cannot have my son, I will have your head. And
wait, Master, calm down. Don't use your anger. But I understand why he is. That's
Oh, well, there's a difference between. Well, I don't know how much of a difference there is between Raph, going after Shredder for Casey.
Yeah, I'm sure Splinter's learned to control it.
Oh yeah. And then the shock of everything. I will not allow you to harm my master. And Splinter is just, he's just dumbstruck. And Leo just kicks him right in the face.
I do absolutely love the design work on Leonardo with the samurai style chest plate and all of the cords tying that to his shell and his belt, and the actual samurai swords, not the katana straight blade but the curved, and the wakizashi tucked into the correct side. I like the design of that. He also has the turtleneck that Shredder has. That must be a Foot Clan. Yeah, it is a Foot Clan thing. Karai's wearing one.
Yeah, Karai has one. Alopex has one. Although Alopex looks purple, or black, not red.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Look at Leo's left, like on the very first where he says, "I will not allow you to harm my master." Look at his shoulder.
He's wearing the
foot symbol.
Yep.
It's a cross between the foot symbol and a red Decepticon symbol.
I don't think that foot logo existed until the and I forget what year it's from, the middle cartoon. I think that was where the 3-pointed thing got invented.
Yeah.
I like that's come to this.
So as I said before, Leo basically kicks the crap out of Splinter. No, rodent, you are wrong. I am not your son. And damn, things get heavier and heavier from here. And Raph's like, oh, hell no. It's still Leo, guys. Don't hurt him, Raph. What the hell, Leo? That's your father. I already said. He is not my father. What is going on, Mikey? Watch out! Oh my god, this brainwashing really did work, apparently. Because holy crap, Leo just takes them all out. Not that he couldn't before, but obviously, as a good guy, Leo would use restraint and not...
Yeah, there is no restraint here. You've got a throat punch with the pummel of the katana. That's a killing stroke that he's swinging at Donatello there.
Yeah. I mean, this knockdown, drag-out battle is simply amazing. Shredder eventually says, enough. Lower your sword, Leonardo. You have proven yourself worthy, Chunin. And this is the thing, you kind of said to me, I think, off-air, that they use a message here where Leo, there's something in the brainwashing where he never kills. Kitsune has basically turned Leonardo into Batman.
Well, even more so. He's not going to kill, but he's using
deadly force. Yeah.
Deadly force. Yeah, I don't think he could, even if they ordered him to. But they know I think what's going on, and they're going to mention it in a page or two here, is that Kitsune knows that if they give the order for Leonardo to kill somebody, that the spell or the brainwashing would be broken because he won't kill. But they definitely have cut him loose enough to give headbutts and throat punches and...
Oh my god, yes.
Just some really vile things that they're not used to seeing him do. But of course he's trained to do them because that's what you do.
Yep. And then Donnie, Raph's like, damn. Donnie's like, guys, run! The door we came in, we'll bust it open, come on! So it's a mad dash for the door. On the opposite panel, Splinter says Leonardo. And the final page, which is at the end to be continued, is, okay, we're in the clear. Hob, I'm going to skin you alive. Easy. Why are you so ticked off at me? You're still breathing, ain't you? You took us to a freaking meat grinder, and I got you out of the meat grinder. Basically, the reason why Hob has done all this, because he wants a favor from them. Not getting in the little greenie back, huh? Let me guess. He went and got himself a new daddy, right? Damn it, Hob. Not all right. Not now, all right. Just not now. And you see Splinter, as the to be continued at the bottom panel, you see him juxtaposed against the city, holding the blue bandana. While your issues have letter columns, mine have I think this is pencil art. I could be wrong, but it says this page and opposite page art by Kevin Eastman. It's of the assassin facing the turtles, both pages, and then we have Karai. Let's see. Opposite page art by Andy Kuhn, colors by Daniel Pez Lopez, which it's a cover of the four turtles against a purple sky. And then we have art by Dean Haspiel, colors by Alan, I can't pronounce his last name. That I believe is another alternate cover. Another Eastman cover as well, colors by Rhonda Pattinson. We're going to have to get her on the show. We're going to have to get her on the show to talk about turtle colors.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, very awesome.
As it and Santaluco, I'd love to talk to him, and I love everything he does except those minor nitpick, the different shaped headband patterns on them.
Oh yeah.
But everything else is brilliant. I love everything.
Yep. We get another cover, which it's Raph and Casey against the Foot Clan, done by Eastman and Pattison, I should say, not Pattinson. The opposite page is by far my favorite. It's done by Rich Woodall. It is Shredder with his wrist gauntlet, and it's Casey in the reflection of the two blades. Oh my god, that looks amazing. Even though he's still wearing the Snuggie, it still looks amazing. This one has a lot of art in it. It also has the regular covers of the City Fall single issues of Kitsune and Splinter, done by Santaluco. Very, very, very awesome. We're going to take a quick break, and then we will come back.
Over here.
Yes, you are. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back to talk about the Villains Micro Series Volume 1, which is Krang, Baxter, Old Hob, and Alopex. We'll be back after this.
This is Krang, the one true ruler of Dimension X, and you're nothing!
It's action, it's drama, it's comedy. It's Decian, the superhero webcomic. Decian's got superhero antics and sexy girls. Read it now at Decian.com. DASIEN.com.
Hey, Geekcast listeners. Do you ever listen to Punisher Body Count and think to yourself, This show would be awesome if it had less toilet humor and was not about the Punisher. If so, join me, Emily Williams, as I class up the Punisher guys on Dane and Jake Get Classy. We're like the Oprah Book Club of comics. You'll hear us discuss famous works like The Dark Knight Returns and The Grove, along with graphic novels no one else is talking about, like Blue Monday and Blankets. You can find us at daneandjakegetclassy.wordpress.com or on iTunes.
So we are back, and this time around, we already covered City Fall Part 1, and the rest of this episode we're going to talk about Villain Micro Series Part 1, where we have Krang, Baxter Stockman, Old Hob, and Alopex. Now, on the trade, it's interesting, because the trade cover, if you look at it, like if you take it like a hardcover book has its jacket, has its dust jacket.
Mm-hmm.
If you take the trade and you open the front cover and the back cover, it's one whole cover that's a turtle shell that makes up with the images of the villains being part of the turtle shell, which is really, really cool. Because I was wondering on here, why in the hell is Krang's face on here twice? Because the actual cover, it shows Krang on the left, Baxter, Old Hob, and then Krang at the far right, and then Alopex is in the center of the image. And I'm like, oh, that's why, because Krang is also on the back of the book. So what they did was they took one of the Krang images and made it part of the actual binding. So that's interesting. All right, so for the trade, I'm just going to get all the staff here out of the way. We have Krang, Baxter, Old Hob, and Alopex. For Krang, it is written by Joshua Williamson, artwork by Mike Henderson, colors by Ian Herring, and lettering is done by Sean Lee. For Baxter, it is written by Eric Burnham, art by Andy Kuhn, I assume that's how you say his name. Colors are done by John Roush, lettering by Tom B. Long. Old Hob is written by Jason Ciaramella. I assume that's how you say his name. That looks good to me. Artwork is done by Dave Wachter, and lettering is done by Sean Lee again. And Alopex is done by Brian Lynch for writing, artwork by Ross Campbell, colors by Ross Campbell and Heather Nunnally, and lettering is done by Chris Mowry.
I learned something about Ross Campbell today.
What, that he did Alopex?
Nope. Well, that too. But when I saw that name, I had just looked at some of the old Mirage books, Volume 3 or 4, because 3 doesn't exist. Volume 4, The Tales of the Turtles, was going at the same time as that, and near the end of it, they did these 4-issue, each turtle got a 4-issue kind of little mini-series, and Raphael's Dark Moon Rising was, the cover illustrations are by Ross Campbell. I don't think the interiors are, but I think that's really cool that he did some work for Mirage, and now he's back doing it for IDW.
Absolutely.
I don't think he's not one of the Mirage House artists, but it was neat. And it's old school work. It looks good, and it's not these large calved turtles that we see now. But hey, there they are. That's where I recognize him.
All right, so getting into this, we have Krang. The cover art on the cover that I have in the trade is Krang, I assume, inside his own chest, and then below him is himself in his body. The cover is done by Tyler Walpole, and the Krang story isn't. It's not one of my favorites out of these 4.
I think I appreciate seeing his backstory. It's something that I don't think we've ever got from any incarnation of Krang. I don't know if you want to summarize the issue. I might be jumping ahead, but it's
good.
It's we see Krang. We know him as that helpless guy in the giant robot body. But in going to his past, to his home planet, and they're at war, and he's shunned by his father, and he decides, you know what, that's it, I'm totally going to own this, and he goes out on his own to do something, and gets separated from his body that all of the Utroms depend on, and he chooses to survive as the brain and does some amazing things. And I like that they are making the Utroms, and particularly Krang in this story, powerful little critters, little creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And they're giving Krang a reason for doing the things that he's doing. He's younger in this. He's not... he hasn't come into his own in this flashback story, interactions with his dad, but it shows why he's such a power-hungry thing.
I mean, I like seeing his backstory. I just don't know if I like the old cliche of, oh, he's a spoiled brat, and then he learns a lesson, and he has to stand up, and he has to, fight back and be a survivor. I swear to God, somewhere in this episode, I'm going to put Eye of the Tiger. I swear to God, I will. But it's like, I appreciate learning about his backstory, but to find out that his backstory is just that he was a spoiled gamer kid or something like that I mean there's so many old movie cliches in this book. Mm-hmm. First of all, the father may love his son, but he doesn't respect him. He doesn't think he can do anything until Krang has to actually step up and survive the attack by his father's enemy, and then he does prove it. It's that whole proving story, and that's I don't know. It's just one of those things that just kind of really that's what they went for.
I can see
but
that.
I get it. I mean I get it. It makes sense in the end, but
I didn't when I read it the first time I didn't catch this part either, but the evil warlord who he was kind of, Dad, I'm going to go kill this guy to prove myself, and gets separated from his body, tames the acid spitting thing, and he goes to attack this warlord, which he manages to handedly defeat with the help of his dragon and his own viciousness. When he says, take the body with us, I've got plans for it, Krang starts to wear this dude's dead body as his robot suit. I missed that.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
I didn't miss it. The first time I read through this, I'm like, wait, what? And then I just went on. When I went back and looked at it again before we recorded this, I'm like, oh my God. Krang is so sadistic. He took this dude's dead body and made it a part of his robot body. Oh my God. But this story basically picks up where, where Karai had stolen, because the whole point of the beginning of the story is Karai had stolen, or some female ninja, according to Granito or whoever the hell that is. He says, some female ninja broke in. I'll go tell Krang, and stole Ooze. So that was when Karai broke in and stole the mutagen. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember what issue that was, though.
I'm trying to remember why she stole it.
She's going to eventually make a warthog and a rhino?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she does that behind Shredder's back. That's right.
Yeah, that'll be coming up later.
So excited.
I'm really, really trying to see here I'm trying to see if Bobby put a note in here. No, I don't see one. But it says a female ninja invaded and killed the guards. Ooze was stolen, and an Utrom is dead. But I'm trying to remember where that was. Like, I remember reading that. But
yeah, me too.
When did that happen? Because it wasn't in City Fall Part 1. Nope. It wasn't in what we've just read. It was at the end of Krang War. That's right. I think it was at the end of Krang War.
Let's find out.
Issue 20, maybe, I think.
18. How about, yep, 20. All right. It's nice having these behind me, but I really need to put them back in order.
I'm trying to think, when did she steal the mutagen?
No, not in Krang War. Oh, yep, there it is. It's in the middle of Krang War.
Yeah. So it's the final chapter of Krang War. It's in issue 20.
Yeah.
And we're up to Micros. Okay, so that works. So, the soldier, tells him of this news, and he's like, the soldier's like, we were letting you recuperate from your fight with the stand back. You do not assist me unless ordered. I don't need your help. And Krang's internal monologue is, the soldier is upset, but I don't see terror in his eyes. He has forgotten his place. Have I grown soft? Have my setback to the hands of those blasted neutrinos changed the way my forces look at me? Do they see me as weak? I was not always as powerful as I am now. And I still don't like the name Planet Ultramenon. It just, I don't know. It just sounds too damn weird for me.
It's a throwback.
Yeah. So we begin this flashback scene, which is pretty much the majority of Krang's story, and we learn that, as I said earlier, Krang was a spoiled little bitch. Ordering everybody around, being, thinking that he has a right to lead, and his father basically shuts him down every step of the way. And during all of this, Quainon's mortal enemy, Traxxas, what does he have? It says, my father and the council planned an attack to squash the rebellion against them. That's what it is. I thought he captured somebody. But basically Traxxas is rebelling against the Utroms, and they have this plan of attack that is going to supposedly work, but it doesn't work because Traxxas knows Quainon all too well, and he put mines where they landed. I gotta say, I'm digging the art in this. I still think Krang is an ugly thing, but I think all the Utroms are ugly.
I'm digging the throwback armor that the commander of that mission is, with the fork on the top of the head and the glasses and that even the creases in the chest. Yeah, those are neat.
Absolutely.
Speaking of those creases, I am proud and happy and ecstatic to say that I finally got a Krang action figure from the old toys, the giant one that had the brain in the tummy. I always wanted that as a kid. I got it at the geek sale. Woo!
Oh, really?
So
awesome.
Yeah,
does he have wings?
No wings. I should add some. But it's my geek badge of honor. I'm happy.
Awesome. Yeah, but the art in this is absolutely stunning. From the backgrounds to the character designs, they're all very, very well. And it's, I'm trying to think, who is this soldier, though? That's not Quainon, because he comes up later.
I think he's a commander who I think is just kind of being commissioned or told to take along with the kid and watch him. That's kind of how I interpret it anyway.
Okay, because
find his name in here.
Yeah. It's creepy as all hell, that bottom panel where he says, but no mangy bunch of prisoners can take on Ultramenon's best. Look at that bottom panel. That's not just a Nick Fury eye patch, ladies and gentlemen. He has no eye. It's gone.
Bolted to his face, too. I just saw somebody with an eye patch that was bolted to their head. I can't remember where I just saw that.
That's creepy. That's just all. See, well, now that you point out that it's bolted, originally I saw those and I'm like, what is that? His? See, I thought it was skin undergrowth. See, I thought his eye is just gone, like just a hollowed out eye socket. That's what I thought it was at first, and now that I'm looking at it a little bit more carefully, yeah, you're right. That's a bolted on eye patch. Holy crap! So Traxxas had planned for Quainon's sneak attack, blew everybody up, and Krang is the only one that survives. And he says, "This was the finest Quanon could send," while he steps on one of the Utroms.
I'm glad they didn't show that. That's bad.
What, stepping on the
Utrom?
Utrom?
Yeah, they cut away there.
Well, they don't necessarily... No, they show his foot over his head.
Well, yeah, but they don't actually illustrate the deed.
Oh, yeah, they don't illustrate him squashing
It's so
the
much
brain.
grosser in my own head.
Dude, I thought the brain's eye socket was no longer there. I thought the brain's eyeball was no longer there, so... whether it by luck or by fate that I made it out of the attack alive, I didn't care. There were more pressing issues at hand. The swamps of Morbus were infamously dangerous. Plants, animals, and terrain, all deadly. So this is basically, Krang has to survive on an alien planet, and this is where he meets his version of Barney. It's a blue Barney! And he says, I lived and I survived, and he basically realizes he cannot be a worthless slob ordering people around. He has to take charge of everything, quite literally, and he does. Again, the art, absolutely amazing. The story, like, here, I like it because it's showing you how Krang has changed from what we saw earlier in the story. So I do like that. And, yeah, I don't know what kind of animal that thing is. It's a lizard, dragon,
iguana.
Iguana,
Acid spitting.
Yeah. Wow, that acid spitted effect is amazing.
Yeah, I like the way that they do that. That's usually like a whiteout on the black marker spattered, and then it gets colored when they do the digital coloring.
Yeah. So Krang goes on to say, "From now on, any challenger would die at my hands. Retreat in an instant or become mine to rule." And we see him riding the thing.
Yeah, and I guess they show, the book shows with him conquering this lizard and later killing the bad guy, that even though they're basketball-sized brains wandering around on little tentacles, that they're still dangerous, that they have the potential to be something.
Yeah. I'm wondering how many tentacles he actually has, because I see 3 while he's riding the lizard, and then maybe it's 4 or 5, 6, I don't even know, because it just seems like there's 3 on one side and then 1 on the other when it hits.
I see 6 on the...
total?
Yeah. On the page that starts whether it was made, or whether it was by luck or by fate that I made it out of that attack alive.
Okay.
There's 6.
Okay.
I don't know if that's canon though.
No, it's I'm looking here at the next page where he says, "Save Traxxas's body. I have a plan for it." I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I can see 6. So that's fine. So, wait a second. He saved his body, but did he only use his head?
No, I think he carved out his chest, because everything below the waist matches too.
Yeah, I guess so. Wow, that is... Oh, God. That is super creepy. And we see General Trag and Granitor, or Granitor, or however you say his name.
I think I would put money on Granitor.
Granitor. Yeah, that's probably what it is. But it's interesting to see these guys not stone soldiers right now.
No. The stone soldiers are all humans. He didn't make those till he met up with Baxter.
Right.
So these are general miscellaneous soldiers, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I really do like General Trag, and like I love them as rock soldiers from the old cartoon. I mean, I don't dislike them here, but
they haven't given these guys personalities yet.
Not yet, no.
And with all this going back to Neutrino and going to Ultramanon and then this planet here with all of these alien bad guys, something that they haven't gone to with the IDW universe is to the Triceratons. They were a significant villain in the Mirage run. I'm sure they're going to eventually. They're probably saving it.
I think they are. I'm trying to think. Was there a cover recently in Solicits that showed that they do?
Bobby made fun of us in our interview for not looking at the solicitations. I don't have an opportunity. I don't see those. I don't know where you go to get them.
I look at. I usually link them on Facebook all the time. Mm-hmm. But it's like, Newsarama.com has them, comicbookresources.com has them. What Bobby was making fun of us for was the fact that we hadn't looked at the recent solicitations, because coming up in issue 37, Shredder and Krang in the series finally meet up. I'm trying to see though, because I have to with doing the pull bag, because I have Steve use certain covers as art for the pull bag banner arts that we do. Mm-hmm. So I have to go through solicits to see if there's any cool covers I want him to use. Yeah, I'm not sure. There's Northampton, Utram. 34 KC. I could have sworn it was maybe it was. I think it. Honestly, you know what I think it is? I think it's the new series, not new series. The new mini series, Turtles in Time. I think that's where I saw it. Let me just look here.
I'm excited for that. That comes out tomorrow, I think.
Well, as of this recording.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I see on the number 1 cover...
they're riding a Triceratops in that cover, I think.
Yes. I don't know if that is Planet Triceraton or anything like that, but like you said, I assume they're going to be getting to it. I mean, as we've already stated in the many reviews that we've done for this series, it's a love letter to the entire franchise of TMNT. Mm-hmm. So them not going to Triceraton, or at least involving the Triceraton somehow, would surprise me. So Krang's father shows up, and basically Krang says, Krang says, "Greetings, Emperor Quanon. My army is at your disposal. It is good to see you, my son. That was the first time my father had called me his son in ages. Finally, he looked upon me as I deserved, with respect."
Well, you didn't deserve it before, but you deserve it now.
So here's my question with this entire story. Is Quanon still alive? I know this is a flashback, this last part where he says, "It's good to see you, my son." I know that's a flashback, but everyone still calls him in the current timeline General Krang. So is Quanon still alive? Is he
have
still
you read
around?
Utram Empire yet?
I breezed through it.
Okay.
I mean, I read it, but I didn't...
I think something happens in that. I think
Okay.
It's been a while. I need to reread it. Of course, I'm coming back to it since we're going to record it. But something happened on Utram that Krang needed to leave and take a bunch of Utram with him to save their lives. And I think that the Emperor got wiped out in whatever happened there.
Okay, so as of right now, he is still... As of this one shot, he is still alive.
Yep. Well, as of the flashback, he is, but I don't think Krang in the next panel sitting in his ooze bath with Granitor saying, "Hey, this is what happened, and I'm not afraid of you."
Yeah, he says, "No underling will ever consider me to be only as strong as my armor. and I will not let my father or my people down. New Atramenon will rise and rule every dimension, and no one, neutrino, ninja, or mutant, will stand in my way.
Bum, bum.
Wow.
I love that panel.
Yeah.
I love it when they play positive, negative games like that.
Because I love that image of Krang, but the soldier is basically passed out in the bath because he knocked him out. The alternate cover here of Krang in the Jungle is done by Mike Henderson. The colors are done by Ian Herring. Absolutely love that.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I enjoyed. I don't know. Like I said before, I think it's a little bit of too cliched with the whole father side. I don't want to compare it to this, but it's the only thing I can think of. It kind of felt Lion King-ish to me with Mufasa and Simba. And okay, sure, Simba and Mufasa aren't as screwed up as Quanon and Krang are, but just the whole thing of, even though the father loves his son, he's still trying to teach his son something. In this, it's like Quanon just has no respect for him until he basically defeats his enemy for him and takes his enemy's army as his own. I think I've seen it a little too many times. I don't know.
And
overall,
go ahead. I saw that and I didn't think about it until you mentioned it. You're right, it is a derivative thing, and I think I overlooked how derivative it is because of getting to see Krang's backstory and giving him a reason to do the things he does and to be the way he is, which is something that I'm always thankful for that the IDW series seems to do, is it gives the characters a reason to be the way they are. But I can see what you're saying.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so overall, the writing for that's one thing I'll say. Even though it's not Eastman and Waltz, and granted, Tom does the majority. I honestly don't know how much writing Kevin does, even though he has a writing credit. I'm not trying to take away from his stuff, but I think even Bobby said Tom does most of the scripting.
Yeah, I think Kevin just gets approval and makes suggestions.
Right. Overall, I gotta say, with different writers doing these characters, I really, I dug the writing of Krang, even though I'm kind of down on the overall plot of the story. But, like you said, seeing the backstory, seeing how Krang became, this most powerful thing that he is, I really dug it, and the art is amazing. I may, every now and then, ladies and gentlemen, complain about the Turtles art a few times, like the Turtles themselves, like the emoticon masks and the upcoming egg-shaped green egg heads. But other than that, the art in these books is absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And even when I get over the gigantic calf muscles and the length of them in that series, I look at it and say, yes, these are not my favorite turtles, but they're still better than I can do, and I give them a lot of space for it. And it's still, and even, not even saying that I think that diminishes it. It's really good art. I mean, on the whole, it's not like those panels you get in some mainstream books where it's just, this is terrible. He had 10 minutes to draw this, and you feel the deadline, and the rendering takes a crap. But that doesn't happen in these books.
Yeah. Up next is Baxter. The main cover here the art is done by Tyler Walpole for the cover. This is a cover I would want as a frame poster. Like, seriously, it creeps me the hell out, but it is so awesome. It's Baxter looking at himself inside of what I can only assume. I know it's some sort of digital technology thing, but it kind of looks like a Christmas ornament.
It's the Mouser head.
Is it? Oh, holy crap, you're right. Wow. Okay, I didn't see the folds at first, but yeah, so he's looking at himself in the Mouser head, and then there's Mousers reflecting back at him along. Wow, that is
Don't feel
awesome.
so bad. When I looked at the cover of Mirage Ninja Turtles 2, it's a Mouser head, and I I don't know. I've looked at that cover for 20 years, and it wasn't till fairly recently, within the past 4 or 5, that I realized that the turtles were reflected in the thing. And for some reason, my child brain, also my teenage brain, and also my adult brain just saw that as chrome reflection. I didn't see the turtles in it. So I felt horribly, horribly dumb. And now I'm admitting that to all of our listeners.
Well, you were a kid. We've done a lot of dumb things as kids. But no, I mean, it's probably one of the best covers out of the entire series right now. So Baxter's story, we start at Burnow Island. I've been here for too long, playing lackey to an extra-dimensional warlord. He goes on to say, he tasked me with overseeing the completion of the Technodrome, a work of terrifying proportions and limitless possibilities. I've been doing my best to learn more than Krang is willing to share, but I've barely scratched the surface. He says, until I understand enough, Krang intends to use the Technodrome to terraform the Earth, remaking it to better suit his people's needs, but such an extensive change would not suit my own.
Andy Kuhn doing the art again. He had a short run in the main storyline a while back. I think his turtles are definitely growing on me. I do quite enjoy his work in this book and in the old arc, which I can't remember. That's the Slash arc.
The Slash arc, yeah.
Yep.
So Baxter keeps going on with his monologue, says he can live with a dictator, but Krang's radical transformation of the ecosystem would be irreversible and would render the Earth unfit for human habitation. I obviously can't allow this but can't openly defy Krang. This leaves me with a problem, but a lot of problems have a solution. My father taught me that. Now, what do you think of the contrast between present day Baxter at the lab and the flashback with his father and him playing chess, the colors, and I like it. I think it's really cool.
Mm-hmm. And the art style is different. I don't know if it's the coloring or the line work. Kind of looking at the present day stuff, I see line variation in the work and in the lines of the face and in the fingernails. But over here, in the flashback, that all looks like a uniformly thick marker. I'm wondering. I can't even tell if it's the same. If it's Andy Kuhn, I think it is. Looking at the shape of the eyes, it's impressive. It's a neat way to do that. It flattens the image. They look almost like paper cutouts with rendering. But that's a neat way to handle it.
And I don't think it's sepia tone, but it's one of those weird alternate visual tones that you usually get in camera phones and cameras in general.
Instagram filter.
Oh, God.
Sorry, now I can't not see it.
Instagram filter, that's funny. So we have Baxter and his father, and his father is making him play chess because he wants to teach him that life is all that life is about winning. Baxter says, Dad, a dumb game can't teach me to think. I can already do that. The father says, this game forces you to anticipate obstacles and how you'll get past them. I almost won the last one. You just got lucky. If you already know how to think so well, then why do I keep beating you? And he says, luck is a bunch of superstitious... This is the one thing in the writing of this one chat that I just have no words for. The father says, luck is a bunch of superstitious claptrap. Like, really? Seriously? You can use that word? He says, we only believe in the power of our minds and what we can accomplish with them. Now set the board up again. So Baxter's father is, I would assume, very, very overbearing, at least towards his son. We go back to the present, and we see that a very weird-looking Krang is calling back. That design is... What the hell is that?
I'm trying to find it.
It's
there it is.
Stockman, I expect you to answer me immediately when I call. What is the status? I want a status report. The computer-generated image of Krang, that just... That looks so friggin' weird compared to what we just saw in the one-shot for him. I particularly don't...
It doesn't jar me. I don't know. I accept that because there are different artists, they're going to look different, and I don't know. I don't know why I don't question it.
I have to. I mean, I understand there's different artists, and every artist has their own take, and that's, the whole point of being able to work on something like this is you have somewhat of some artistic license. But I still think there should be some sort of uniform code that says, if you're going to be doing, a story with Krang in it, he has to look like this, but you can put your stamp on it if you'd like, a little bit. And I think this is just way too much of artist creativity here, because he doesn't just have 6 tentacles now, he has like 20. I mean, just, yeah. So Baxter says, my apologies, General. I was in the middle of a rather complicated calculation. As for the Technodrome, it remains on schedule as it was the last time you asked. Krang says, I would prefer ahead of schedule. I'm tired of waiting. Do you want it done sooner, or do you want it done right?
¿Por qué no las dos, I say. My wife and I robbed that taco commercial. Why can't we have it both ways?
And Krang's like, you seem to be under the impression that I'm offering a choice. Perhaps if you weren't focusing so much on your little side projects, this is for the Technodrome Journal. I fail to see the connection. The people I have working under me are of limited competence. Some innovation was needed to further speed things along. And that is what you came up with?
I know, right? It seems like a round-the-block kind of solution to a small problem. But Baxter here has created a fly-robot hybrid, which got me giddy. I thought he was going to end up in that thing.
See, here's the thing. Remember, we talked about a few Back Issue Classics episodes ago. We talked about Fugitoid. I swear they were pulling a Fugitoid where they were going to put Baxter's mind in Flyborg. I swear. I'm hoping he eventually does become a fly, because it's just part of the canon that I know. But I'm kind of glad that he isn't yet. I wonder. I know the main series has nothing to do with the Nick cartoon, but in the Nick cartoon, Baxter has already mutated.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Spoilers.
No. I can't get it in sequential order, and the show drives me crazy enough that I can't watch it. But I am interested in what's going on, because it is Turtles.
Yeah, he's interesting, to say the least. But so we have this Flyborg, and the Mousers are all around him, and we have all these wires. And Baxter says, "I'm inspired by the notion of insect colonies, General. This is a prototype Flyborg, mutated insect in part machine, small enough to fit in cramped spaces, stronger than any human worker, more intuitive than a mechanical drone, and best of all, completely expendable."
He says over a $4 million prototype.
Yeah, you think?
I'm looking at a picture of 2012 Baxter Stockman. He as the Fly. That's creepy. It's not even cute or pleasant.
Well, no.
Friendly.
Yeah,
It's not. That's not the wrong. It's not child friendly. That's what I was going.
No, not at all. He's he's more interesting in the show as a Fly, though. There hasn't been, since he mutated, there hasn't been too many episodes with him that focus on him versus the Turtles, but it's been interesting because right now they're focusing on another part of the story that deals with Splinter and Shredder that I will not spoil for you, but I'm pretty sure you can already assume that they take a completely different direction with Karai in the animated series.
Yeah, I have heard that's way cool. You know, they haven't explained how they've never shown Splinter as Hamato Yoshi, have they yet?
Not yet.
They're waiting for something.
The latest episode, the whole point of the episode that that had aired as of this recording was it aired on, when the hell did it air? As of this recording, it aired this past Saturday, June 14th, 2014, or June 15th. They're on Sundays, not Saturdays. June 15th, 2014. The entire episode was based upon Bebop.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Before Bebop becomes Bebop.
Mm-hmm.
And he's stealing Shredder's helmet. So the entire episode, you see Shredder without his helmet until the very end.
Huh.
So you actually get to see all the scars and his whole head design in the latest episode.
Oh, actually, I have a figure here where the helmet comes off. There we go.
All right, getting back to the comic
Sorry.
here. No.
Sorry to the listeners.
And when I say that, he says, Krang says, you might have actually stumbled across something worthwhile here. Keep me informed. And when I say that, Stockman, I expect you to do so this time.
Oh.
And it's a good thing the letterer, I believe it's Sean Lee on this one, I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing he puts this speech bubble in like little ripped up, not quotations, but it's not a flat edged. It's like a bevel edge, because you see that it's what Baxter says here. You arrogant little. It's something he's thinking in his head, and he says, "No, breathe. Don't get angry." And we go back to the flashback, and we get the father and the son. Well, you've got a mover, aren't you? I'm thinking. You should already have several ideas based on the available moves. Your choice will give me. Maybe you're not as smart as I thought you were. Baxter says, there. See what you did there? You moved your knight right into my trap because you were angry. So this whole page is basically his father telling him, you cannot get angry. Now, that's a running theme in this series. Splinter can't get angry, Raph can't get angry, Baxter can't get angry.
A whole lot of people with repressed feelings.
Yeah, you think. But I absolutely love the art in this. It's so well done.
Yeah, I like these flashback panels. That's
yeah,
such an interesting way to do it with I mean, that's really just the main difference. Yeah, the sepia tone, but then it's on the present day stuff that's either digital brush or physical brush, because he's getting line variation. But in these flashbacks, that's definitely like a rapidiograph marker. The line weight is consistent. And I think that's really a neat way to do that, to signify the difference between the two panels. Or between the two time periods, I guess.
Absolutely. So we have The next page is, even unfinished, the Technodrome is magnificent, a wonder of alien technology. And we really kind of get to see. We don't get to see the full Technodrome, but...
I wonder if it's going to have an eye on the top. I don't think they've decided yet.
I'm not sure. Why don't you talk about Flyborg here on these pages while I actually try to find and see if it does have an eye.
Yeah. No, I want to see how you're going to find it. Wait, how did you...
I'm going to look in my pictures here.
Oh, man.
Well, remember...
Go ahead.
Remember when Bobby told us that issue 37 has Shredder and Krang meeting for the first time?
Mm-hmm.
I grabbed that cover, and I want to see if that cover... No, the cover doesn't have an eye on it.
Yeah,
it looks like it's...
I wonder if we're going to get the Technodrome soon. I assumed that the Technodrome was going to wait until nearer to the end of the run, whenever that is. But we'll see. I don't know what I want. I'm thinking of the future of the series. Are they going to kill Shredder and then keep the story going like they've done in several of the previous books? I don't know how it's going to happen. But either way, Flyborg, since you asked, Baxter has an iPad, a tablet of some device with him, and the Flyborg is robot controlled, or he's commanding it with the thing, with the tablet, having it do things, and as he's setting it free to do his thing, rock soldiers come to interrogate, to figure out what he's doing, why he's here, because he's doing something that he's not supposed to do. He's going to send the Flyborg in to do it. When the rock soldiers confront him, the Flyborg starts to talk, starts to say things that Baxter didn't exactly plan, shocks him, hits a button on the iPad, shocks the Flyborg, and then it flips out. And then it starts killing the rock soldiers. And then it starts chasing Baxter. At this point, we're not entirely sure why, what's going on. Wrecking stuff
all over the place.
Baxter's running to hide. It looks here. Krang contacts him. What the heck is going on? Why are you contacting me? And he's saying that the Flyborg got away from me. The experiment got away, and something went wrong. I never could have predicted that, Krang says.
Yeah. Wait, what? Huh? Why are the turtles there?
Flashback, or Krang's thinking.
Okay.
I think that's an aside.
And I have grown quite tired of mutants lately. Yeah. General, you need to send more guards. I need to? Watch your tone, Stockman. My patience is not infinite. I'm sorry, General. I put a tracking chip in the Flyborg prototype to keep tabs on it. I know it's coming back this way. Please, there must be some place I can hide. Someplace secure. This isn't all too much of a setup. Well, you're not wrong about your little pet. He is coming. General, please don't make me beg. Ha ha ha. I enjoy seeing the side of you, Stockman. It amuses me. Follow the monitor, and I will help you scurry away to safety. So, I honestly think this whole Flyborg thing is Baxter's big thing to get into the secure room. To get into the room with all the information is. I think that's all this thing is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting. I mean, we won't see a flashback page for a couple, I think 3 pages. No, longer. We won't see a flashback page until the very end of the book, so it's like 4.5 pages away from here. But what I noticed looking at the flashbacks in Baxter now, he had jerry curls when he was a kid. And he just has like a flat top kind of hairstyle as an adult. So he basically tries to lock himself in this secure room, and the Flyborg breaks in, and he says, yes, that's enough of he put a bug zapper on the Flyborg because the Flyborg is just all into pieces and everything else. And I believe. No, this is more Baxter talking. I thought it was the Rock Soldiers, but he says, top it off with a little destruction from when you tore the room apart to find me, and my tracks are covered. Now there's just one loose end, but wait, do you hear that? The sound of rockmen tromping down the hall. Help, it's in here. You have to help me. Help me! And there it is. End it. No, wait. It's attacking. Fire at will. But mind the civilian. No, not like this. Wait, please, wait. Wasn't me. You mustn't. Now, see, this is where I kind of thought that even though they said mind the civilian, this is where I kind of thought someone's, whether it's Baxter's or somebody else's consciousness, was in the Flyborg.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's advanced artificial intelligence, but oh god, Robin Williams as Andrew the Bicentennial Man. Holy crap! But that was really, really cool how it was trying to tell them that, hey, I didn't do this; it was him.
I think with the Flyborg talking, I have a feeling that's side effect or intended effect of the mutagen, that it increased its intelligence, but the intelligence knows that it's not in control of its actions, and that's why he's pleading to be, please don't kill me, it's not like that, it wasn't me, as he's leaping at them trying to kill them. What I like that this moment does for Baxter is in every incarnation he's been a bumbling idiot genius doing these things, but then screwing up and having to survive the insults of Krang or Shredder or whatever because he bumbled. We learn from the experiences with his dad that he's calculating, he's got it planned out, and in here he totally manufactured this situation so that he could get into that room appearing to Krang like he was a bumbling idiot with another failed experiment, but whenever he does bumble, it might not be as unintentional now. We can't trust Baxter when we see him in the future and what he's doing. So I really think that's kind of interesting. And I don't think that a lot of what happened in this story is going to pay off for a very long time, and not till we're in the Technodrome again.
Oh, absolutely not.
Which could be 20 issues from now at the pace they're going, which I'm fine with. I'm not complaining.
Absolutely. But that, and that's the cool thing, where Baxter, well, I do eventually want to see him become Fly Baxter.
Uh-huh.
I'm happy that he is still around where, God, what are we, 24, 25 issues into the series, in the main ongoing?
Mm-hmm.
We're 24, 25 issues and he hasn't been killed off yet. That's, that's an accomplishment, because usually, like you said, Baxter is usually bumbling. He's usually gone in the first, 5 or 6 minutes of a cartoon episode.
He's the Rhino of the Turtles universe.
God. Oh my God. If only Baxter was in the Michael Bay movie, you could have Paul Giamatti as Baxter Stockman. I don't think that would work because he is the Rhino. So the final page here. Well, so like you're saying, Baxter, he does get all the information. And he does say, I'd call that check, because he gets all the information from Krang, and he says that Krang's plan is staggering, it's bewildering, and it's unbelievable. And we go back to the flashback as the final panel here, and basically Baxter, who is now a young adult, mid-20s maybe,
who looks like Lando Calrissian to me.
Oh, jeez. No. No, dude. Just no. No. He basically pulls a checkmate on his father and basically takes over Stock Gen from his dad. That's crazy. I gotta say, Tyler Walpole, I think it was at the beginning of this, I think it was Tyler Walpole that did that first cover. The covers for this story, absolutely. Yeah, it was Tyler Walpole for the first cover. And for the alternate cover that I have here in the trade, it's Andy Kuhn. And
Oh, yeah, playing chess with all of the people
Andy
in the story.
Kuhn, Daniel Pez Lopez playing chess with a... Oh, my God. I want an IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles chess set just like this. That is so friggin' cool. And look at the Krang piece. It even has the little brain in... Well, it has the brain in its chest, not its stomach, but that's because that's where it is in this series. I'm trying to see if he has... No, he doesn't have... Wait, does he? Yeah, he does have... Wow, that's a really weird looking piece if that's Shredder. It might be Splinter, though.
On the left there, that looks like Kitsune to me.
Okay, that could be Kitsune.
Although I'm looking at one that's an inch wide over here, but
yeah,
could be Splinter.
Could be. All right, up next is the saddest kitty tale you've ever read. Up next is Old Hob. The cover art is Old Hob basically pulling a Wolverine pose because he has, claws / marks behind him, and it's done by Tyler Walpole. And this takes place after he saves Slash, because Slash is with him here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice, and I know we should probably... well, we did talk about that earlier in this episode. We talked about how this takes place during issue 23 of the ongoing. Yep. So Hob, it starts out Hob saying, our problem is humans. See, I ain't never had much dealing with them, and that's good. Oh, no, he says, see, you ain't had very much dealing with them, that's good. You ain't ever been nobody's pet. And with good reason. I mean, I look at you and you ain't exactly warm and cuddly. But me, I had plenty of dealing with them. And too much, if you ask me. In fact, and then we get... That's one thing I love about all these origin stories for these guys. Mm-hmm. It's current day and flashback. And it's just absolutely amazing. So, we go back to before Old Hob became what he is today, and he was a regular house cat. That
had an unfortunately lazy owner.
Yeah, poor Billy, or Danny. I don't know. My memories from back then are all out of whack. Anyway, we got along like mayo and tuna. And I like the art here, and I like how they basically took, we've said many times that this series this entire IDW series is a love letter to the Turtles. And what they did here was they took the opening of the 87 cartoon and gave it to Old Hob, where the kid with the fishbowl with the turtles in it slips and falls on the street and it cracks and the turtles fall down the sewer. They kind of took that and turned it into a story for Old Hob a little bit, because he started out as a pet of some little boy, which is kind of nice and neat. And because Billy or Danny or whatever his name is,
we don't actually know because Old Hob doesn't remember
in
his own flashback.
He doesn't remember so good from those days. Billy or Danny's mom just is so fed up with him not taking care of the cat, so she finds the cat, grabs the cat, and tosses him out in the snow. Man, that lady should be...
That poor cat. You can just hear it.
Yeah.
There's no sound effect, but I know what that cat is sounding like.
Yeah, pretty much. And he says, "Please, Ma, he's gonna die out there. Your own damn fault." And the saddest cat panel I've ever seen in a comic.
They did that without making it look like a cartoon too. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
He's got the Puss in Boots eyes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Meow. Nope,
Pray
sorry.
for mercy from Puss in Boots. And I mean this he's not a old Hob as a regular cat. He's not a kitten per se, but he's not a full grown adult cat. I don't know. I'm not a cat owner. I don't deal with cats personally. I can deal with them, from a distance. I'm more of a dog person, but he doesn't look like he's an old, that old fat. He doesn't look like a Garfield. Granted, Billy probably wasn't feeding him all that much, but he doesn't look like he still looks like he's a kitten, but not like firstborn. Is my kind of point here. Because the saddest cat face ever on the left panel here before Billy says no, and then down later where he says his monologue says, "I learned pretty quick that if you want something on the street, you got to fight for it." When he walks away, he just doesn't. I don't know. He doesn't look like he's fully grown. But I like it. I mean, I think it's really cool, and I think it's kind of sad and strange that this little kind of kitten would eventually end up becoming Old Hob, because he's ugly as sin in the present day, whereas as an actual kitten, he was kind of cute.
until he starts getting the snot beat out of him by everything.
Yeah,
including what do we have here in this panel? Another cat. There's a dog. The next page has him getting the snot kicked out of him by our favorite rat, Splinter. The poor guy. No love.
Absolutely no love whatsoever. And then, he gets beat up by Splinter, but in the process of all this, he gets covered in the mutagen. Now, here's my problem with this scene where he says, "And when you see something you want, you better be ready to take it." This whole page where he's getting attacked by the future Splinter. Was this before they got captured and put in Stock Gen? Because I thought the whole point of them being at Stock Gen for the origin was that they were injecting mutagen into them. They were so having a scene here, seeing them cover, and it's been so long since I've read those first issues. Having a scene here, seeing them all covered with mutagen, I just don't remember.
The turtles were being used to terrapin human soldier hybrid, and they were making the humans grow like turtle shell out of their skin, which was where the rock soldiers came from. That's what they were a separate project. They weren't getting injected with anything.
Okay.
This point where Old Hob takes, he runs away with Raphael at that point was after the ninjas attacked. They had bagged up the turtle. The ninjas came in. They had bagged up the turtles. They had bagged up some of the mutagen, and it got dropped as they were jumping from the building. And Old Hob said, "Oh, hey, now we know why he's attacking. He's attacking because he was hungry, and he wanted to eat one of them." And he walked away with Raph.
Yeah. Okay, I got you now. Very cool, very cool. It goes back to present day. He says, "I don't know how it was for you. I know they stuck it in you. They stuck it in you with needles, and so maybe it was different. Hey, I ain't looking for a shoulder to cry on here. The story is important. You need to understand what we're facing and how it all got started, see? Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. So I figured out I was dying, but then I didn't." So this is Old Hob nearly died twice, because earlier in the series Baxter shot him at current day. Baxter pulled the trigger on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when I said it in a few of the Back Issue Classics ago, where I'm like, "Oh no, he killed Old Hob."
Yeah.
apparently for Old Hob, the mutagen not only mutated him into a humanoid cat, it also gave him... This is why I'm saying he's basically the Wolverine of the Turtles universe, because he has the healing powers.
I don't know if he's got healing powers. I just think he's springing back from these injuries. Not any faster. I think there's just time compressed. I don't know. Because he didn't regrow that eye.
Okay, no, he didn't regrow the eye, but like what I'm saying is, being like you shoot Wolverine, 5 seconds later he's going to squint his eyes and concentrate real hard, and next thing you know the bullet hole in his skin is gone. That's what I'm saying. In the current day when Baxter shot him, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying here where we see him mutated. I'm saying in the current day when Baxter shot him and I thought he was dead, I'm like, well, okay, there goes Old Hob, and apparently he's not dead because he has some sort of healing property from the mutagen.
I don't read that as healing property. I just think he went and licked a bullet wound for a couple of weeks. Because he's gone for a couple issues.
Yeah.
Or in Archer 3.
Yeah. So we see his mutation, and it is freakish. He kind of looks like at this full page of him mutating, the bottom left, right above where he says, and coming out something totally different. He kind of looks like a cat version of Razor. Just his body, his skeleton, it kind of reminds me of Razor just a little bit. So then we see him, he's, a full cat humanoid thing, and...
I kind of want him to go back and see Billy or Danny or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Hey, remember me? You gave me such good tuna. Oh my god, it's a mutant cat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So wait. They were out searching for the Turtles and Splinter before they mutated, and they mutated, and Raph, or Old Hob, got mutated, and he overhears them talking about. So that's where that scene comes from. See, that's interesting, because we had already seen him earlier in the series say, "Hey, look, I can help you guys out." So we now see where he says that he can help them out. They take him back to StockGen and perform a whole bunch of tests on him.
That don't look too pleasant.
No, not at all. Well, StockGen isn't exactly an animal-friendly place. I mean, come on now.
There are some PETA violations here.
Did you think? I mean, not just one or two or three. It's like 100 million violations. So... Old Hobbs says, you don't want to, he says, look, I still got that filthy animal scent. It won't be hard. I'll stick to the alleys and flush them out. Plus, don't you want something new to poke and prod at? And Baxter's like, let me think about that. Again, the art is really, really magnificent. I love how they change. I love how the colors constantly change from panel to panel to illustrate the backgrounds and how different all the scenery is. I really think that is awesome.
Conveys a sense of time when you do that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I'm trying to see here. So we got... he says that he didn't need to think long. He knew letting me go was a risk, but I was his best chance at finding the rat, and that was too much tempting for old Back. I love how he calls him old Baxy. Back said he'd give me cash if I needed it, and just needed to keep checking back with him at the lab. But who was going to take cash from me, looking the way I looked, so I lived the only way I knew. That got me thinking, if the rat is anything like me, he could be a handful to take in. Ain't saying I was scared, but I ain't stupid either. In this life, it's good to be prepared for anything. A few extra bodies to throw at this problem couldn't hurt, but how was I going to convince a human to join up with me? Which it's really, like, at first when I first heard about Old Hob, I was really skeptical.
I was
about
very
the character.
nervous when they said they were introducing new characters. Like, okay, they have a right to introduce it; it's their thing. But I was nervous. You know, you don't play with the formula that worked.
I was very nervous because I was like, really? Am I going to even like this character? And as I've kept reading him throughout, throughout the series so far, I'm liking him a little bit more. He's not my favorite character, but he's not someone I dislike either.
Uh-huh.
And I really like seeing his backstory. So he goes and fights all these guys, and they're like, real monsters. And he builds himself up an army, and obviously we go back to present, and he's talking to Slash again. He says he needed to know his days of poking and putting me on that damn hamster wheel were over. And Slash says, no more pain. He says, speaking of rats, we got right to looking for that stinking rodent after my little visit with Baxter. I remember the first time I saw them all together. And we do another flashback, which I believe this is the first fight they had with the Turtles. Oh, God.
Yeah, red bandanas. So,
yeah,
it would be an early one, if not the first.
Yes, and oh God, Splinter! Look at that bottom left panel. Oh my God, this is so bad.
Gosh, I am doing a new Splinter drawing. I have to find that and see if I like it now that I've had some time. I don't know where I put that. Dang it, I should probably just start over. I'm making little small printouts and selling them at the geek sale of some characters, and he's one of them. But we'll see. Anyway, tangential.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It just...
Oh, they explain your gunshot.
Oh, they do, yes. They do.
That's why. On the very next page.
Yeah. I just still can't get over that. Between City Fall Part 1 earlier in this episode and now, I just can't get past that.
Can't get past what?
How Splinter looks. It's one... Okay, sure, they did a really cool thing with the bandanas. Absolutely loved, even though I was... But none of the artists have been able to get... There are certain artists that I like Splinter more, but lately how he's been drawn in the series of us reviewing it so far, it just...
Well,
scary.
and like I've said before, there's I don't think there's anybody who draws Splinter well, and it's not to speak at anybody's art, it's just that a rat that's a human size is really hard to draw without it looking like a dog. Like, there's too many of the features that are shared between the two of them, and when you make him look like a real rat, he doesn't look like a rat anymore. He looks like a mouse, and you can't have Splinter looking like a mouse because a mouse is too wimpy. It's not terrifying like rats are terrifying.
Yeah.
So I give a lot of room for my Splinters, just because.
I do, but the one on the previous page before you said the gunshot, it looks like a smaller version of what Kitsune put in Leo's dream. It looks the same kind of the way his face is drawn. But anyway, let's not dwell on that. All right.
He does have round ears in that panel.
Yeah, which is nice. So Hobbs' monologue continues. What's that old saying about fool me once or whatever? Yeah, well, shame on me. Bax made a show of me to his pal. He was covering his bases all the way home, and I didn't fit into the plans no more. I gotta hand it to Bax, though. I didn't think he had it in him to do the dirty work. I guess he underestimated me, too. He had thought he had me, but nobody one-ups old Hob. Remember what I told you about leverage? Oh. But wait, he's already mutated.
He took a vial of the healing mutagen.
Okay.
And he smashed it on his chest to heal it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so when he mutated, he didn't get healing powers like Wolverine, but still, my whole thing of the healing, it kind of worked a little bit.
Yeah, you were. There was a connection there. I didn't.
Little bit. So the final page here is, and the whole city is going to shake with fear when they see what's coming next. You got 2 minutes before my better judgment kicks in, Hob. I didn't think you'd show. No, not now. We got business with these boys, and it says to be continued in TMNT 23, which is when he sets them up to go meet with Shredder.
What I'm staring at now after this page here is next issue is Alopex, and it is a beautiful illustration that I have not noticed before or seen anywhere else, but it's Alopex, the Arctic fox, standing on a bright red, looks like it's the foot logo, kind of sprayed into the snow in blood. And she's got bloody claws, bloody fists, and that's gorgeous. I've never seen that.
It's done by Ross Campbell.
Yes,
it's
it
in
is.
the back of the trade here. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. I love that, but I love her main cover a little bit more.
I had a thought about this main cover before we started to record. The main cover of the Alopex issue, she's kind of a traditional comic book pose. We're at the corner of a building, a raised building, lights kind of in the background, the water tower from New York City, and she's standing there kind of triumphant with her claws kind of in a grasping pose, and her legs and body are wrapped in this tape. I think we've discussed it before, that we think that Alopex is going to be a replacement for Ninjara from the Archie Turtles, who I don't think they have the rights to. We could ask Bobby to clarify. So I think she's going to be the love interest of Raph someday.
Oh,
and
boy.
Ninjara in the old Archie series had, because of who was drawing her, had gigantic boobs. And I noticed, as looking at this while thinking about the love interest thing, that Alopex does not have any breasts. And it led me to think, okay, why did they make this decision, or why not? Because the wrapping around her torso is very tight. You can see her thoracic arch, her rib cage, the ab muscles. She has no breasts because foxes, like all kind of canine dog-like things, have 8 or 9 of them, well, pair, so there'd be 6, 8, 10 of them down the middle. She would have 8 or 10 gigantic ones. She'd look like that dancer from the Star Wars movie Return of the Jedi. And I'm glad that they decided to do this. And it's a mutant fox. It's not a bloody boy toy fantasy thing.
Yeah,
so no breasts on our Alopex, and I'm happy to see that.
I have to wonder. Now, I do know that, I don't know if it's a beginning, but I do know, because I have read ahead for that interview that we did with Bobby so long ago. I do know that in Northampton, when she shows up, that she and Raph kind of start to have a little bit of, I don't want to say chemistry. What the hell's the word? Not fatal attraction, but some sort of something starts there.
You are very perceptive to notice that, because I did not catch that. And as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, frick, it's Ninjara. They're totally going to do it. And not the turtle and her do it, no, but the comic writers are totally going to do it.
Yes.
And make that happen. But, now I forgot where I was going with it. But, I don't know. I have in the past had terrible luck with girls, and I miss those obvious signs like this. But you picked it up. Good on you, man.
Well, it's just one of those things because it reminds, like, okay, what? We're not even up to Northampton yet. We haven't even begun the rest of City Fall yet. But here's the thing: when I was reading Northampton, which is issues 29 through 32 of the ongoing, there are several scenes in there where she pins him or he pins her. And the first thing I think of, besides Mask of the Phantasm with Bruce Wayne and Andrea Beaumont, Batman and the Phantasm, the first thing I think of is, and I don't know why, this has nothing, foxes and lions have nothing to do with each other.
Lion King. The come hither look that Nala gives him when he
No,
pins her.
not even the come hither look. The pin look when they go tumbling down the hill and she pins him. Nala pins Simba as a cub and then she pins him again as an adult.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I thought of when I saw Alopex and I'm like, oh my god, no, a fox and a turtle. Oh god, no. That's like Simon Belmont wanting to have Mother Brain babies with Mother Brain and Captain and the Game Master. Ugh. Anyway, back to here we go.
Oh yeah, we actually got to review this issue here. Hold on.
Yes, Alopex here. Okay, we start out at 12:42 a.m. The cleaning crew has gone home. Security guy is napping from his secret hiding spot, a broom closet next to the lobby. Are they trying to say something about the guy in the closet? Not that there's anything wrong with that. The owner of the building is holding an after-hours meeting. He's a wannabe ninja looking to level up, organizing muscle, buying intel. This idiot is not my concern. The 4 turncoats selling him the secrets of my ninja clan. They are my mission. They want to betray the Foot. They want to betray my master. Now, I've said this before. I have not read the old comics. Mm-hmm. Was Ninjara also part of the Foot Clan?
I would need to reread that, but I don't think so. Okay. I can picture the issue in my head where she shows up, and I think that was about the time that I stopped reading it. I'm waiting to read it because I want to do a podcast series with art where we read them all.
Oh, absolutely. You guys are so doing that.
I totally need to make a time for that. I'm recording so much. It's insane for me. Anyway, someday I'll find out and I'll report back when I know.
Alright, so she basically busts through the glass, time to go to work. So-called ninja immediately goes for a gun. I get there first. What are you? I'm Batman. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I guess he wasn't expecting a mutant Arctic fox. She says, hold it. And again, the interesting thing with the Alopex issue is the difference in the red, white, and blue. Because she, obviously, as an Arctic fox, she's all white outside of the purple on her forehead and eyes. But the background coloring on this page where she shatters the glass and breaks in, it's all kind of like a bluish grayish background. The very next page, or the series of pages, is a combination of the blue gray and red and white. I love that.
Oh yeah. Well, the red and white, the red stuff is she puts on a red blindfold. She hands these 4 Foot Clan ninjas the Ninja Turtles' weapons. Here's a bow. Here's some sais. Now defend yourself. And she blindfolds, and they think, well, we're gonna kick the snot out of her. And then she proceeds to beat them. And as she's beating them, these red stripes that go across are it's envisioning what she is picturing in her head, being blinded by a red bandana, picturing the turtles getting smashed as she's actually practicing on these human foot ninjas.
Yes. Now, again, I think right now they are hinting with just the color of the damn bandana. They are hinting of things to come. Because why is it got to be red? Why can't it be purple or orange or blue? You know. My question is, are these their weapons? Like she fought them and took them from them, or are these just
she brought them along to train?
Okay, so these aren't the action. These are their weapons, but they're not their possessive. Like she didn't have some off panel battle with them.
Nope.
And, okay, yeah. That's what I figured.
And I want to give you this bit of symbolism, although I'm sure I can't remember the phrase. It's when Freud and sometimes a hot dog is only a hot dog and it doesn't represent a penis. I can't. Sometimes it's just what it is, and it's not. I'm reading too much into it. But in the panel where she's thrashing Raph in the last panel, in her dream or fantasy, she's clawing at his heart. I don't know if that's symbolism, foreshadowing, but I noticed it after hearing you talk about their eventual love relationship. I don't know. Maybe not.
Well, I don't know if it's an actual... I just know they're flirting with each other in Northampton. I don't know if
No. I don't even think they're flirting. I don't think anything of the sort, because he hates her right now in that...
No. Well, in Northampton, yeah, but it's... As Northampton goes along, by the end of it, they respect each other. So, like, the middle of it, when he's not necessarily hating or loving her, he's... There's a... when we get to that recording, you'll see.
I don't think I will. And then they end, like, I'm going to kill you again because I think she stabbed them all in the back. Or he thinks she did.
Yeah.
But we're getting way ahead of ourselves. Sorry, listeners.
Yes,
but you should go read that before we get to it. It'll be fun.
Yes, exactly. So, next page we get, these men were part of the Foot, part of a family. Halifax, please. They had a home, a purpose, a calling. They threw it all away, and for what? Keep the money. He's distracted. He can't be paying much attention to us. Let us go. He doesn't have to know. There is no escape from the Foot. That image right there of her. Oh my God. That's not something I want to have in my dreams at all. Oh my God, that is so freaky.
With this section, they have painted her as extremely loyal to the Foot. That she can't be bought off. And it says a lot about what that foot soldier's thinking and where his mind frame is, that he thinks he can buy this person off. He thinks he can buy this Arctic fox off, to the point where that's an option for him to say it. But no, she proves him wrong and probably, oh wow, she guts them and I didn't realize she burnt the building down. In the next panel.
Building go boom. But if you look at the juxtaposition of... in the trade, it's a little hard because of the binding of the book. But, like, the bottom panels, the two bottom panels left and right of the pages, between her jumping at the guy and then Saki, with her standing in the shadow of the very bottom panel on the other page here, the reds almost bleed together between the left page and the right page on the bottom panel. And I had to actually separate... I'm not separating my binding here, but I'm actually pulling it open a little bit more to see if there's... make sure it's not a bleed over, and it isn't. So she covers her tracks, and then she goes home. Things are tense at HQ. We're being attacked from all sides. Most of the humans aren't ready for war. Some are. Alopex, he wants to see you. Back 5 minutes and already a new mission. Master? I love that shot of her in shadow. That's one thing that all of these artists do very well, is characters in shadow.
Well, that's the sign of a well-designed character is, can you recognize them in a silhouette? If you put them black on white, can you read them? And, we know what... we know who X, Y, and Z are just based on their silhouette. And yeah, I mean, even though Alopex is one of the few new characters that they've made for this, we know who she is.
Yeah. Well, it's
And that
kind of hard.
purple
not to know
domino
who-
mask isn't hard to figure out. But either way.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing. I want to talk about that because she puts on a red bandana during the fight, and I don't know if, because I'm looking at the close up on the page opposite of where her monologue says, "Master Shredder knows I won't fail him."
Mm-hmm.
The very top singular panel, that doesn't look like a mask. That looks like it's paint.
I think it's paint. Yeah.
It looks like war paint. So my question would be, does she have a thing for Donnie and Raph?
Nah, I think she had that before she ever saw him.
No, yeah, she does. She did, but yeah. There are rumblings he's going to promote me, but that is not at all why I work as hard as I do. I owe this man everything. He made me what I am, more than a mindless animal. Without him, I'd probably be dead in a hunter's trap or starving in the snow. The traders have been... Opposition is escalating. We need to consolidate resources. Tomorrow at dawn, you and I are leading a cleanup of one of our research facilities in Fairbanks, Alaska. He says, "Is there a problem?" She says, "No, sir. I know that name. It's not just on this file." Dawn it is then. Looking forward to it. And she says, I know that name. It's not just on this file. It's on mine. So, again, we see... And this is why I love the micro-series. We see these origin stories of these characters, and they're so, so well done. So they head out to Fairbanks, and man, the background art is so good. Like, these artists nail these backgrounds. I'm not... I can't draw to save my life. I can't paint. I can't do, I can't sculpt a shredder shuriken, But I mean, damn, these all these different background colors and how they do the backgrounds, absolutely amazing. So the monologue starts on this one. Never thought I'd come back here. Fairbanks is where they mutated me, but it goes deeper than that. The surrounding area, the woods, the mountains. According to my file, this was my home. Master is watching. He's wondering if I'll react. Truth is, I don't remember much about this place. Everything pre-mutation is a blur. So, between Hob and Alopex, most of their pre-mutation, even though Hob's story had a little bit more background as far as where he came from, they both have fuzzy memories when it comes to before they were mutated.
Yeah, the turtles don't hold on to anything either. It seems it's it's comic book nerdism to go here, but I think the mutagen gives them sentient self-awareness, that they are aware enough to realize that they're hungry and that they go animal instinct sorts of things. The only one who was a smart animal was Splinter.
Yeah.
But that's because of the reincarnation stuff and the brain serum.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He was getting the brain serum. He was getting the brain juice. So she goes on and says, so I'll show him. This place has been closed for months. It's probably empty. She says, with your permission, I'll take care of this. Okay, let's make this quick. Plant the bombs, grab any useful equipment, blow the place to hell. And again, the art. She's having, she starts having flashbacks to her old life.
Not so much of a blur anymore, is it?
No, not really. When you see Bugs Bunny, you tend to remember stuff. Oh, God. So she goes on to say, I only knew its scent. I knew how fast it ran. I knew how it tasted. All sorts of life. Rabbits, squirrels. They could all hide. They could hide all they wanted. I remember this. I had a family. I was the hunter of the pack before I was fully grown. I should get back to work. It was a long time ago. The foot is my family now. Push the memories back. Fight, you know how to do that. So we get her flashing back on the bear.
The interesting thing here, I think the flashbacks of the wolf and the other foxes and the bear here are done in pencil sketch, scanned into the computer and grayscaled. So they look... there's a different treatment of the flashbacks. I wonder if that's a thing. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to do it that way, to make the flashbacks a different style, but I wonder where that first started. Because it's the first time I've ever noticed it.
I know that IDW has done it before. I know they do it. Like I was saying earlier, I know they have on the Transformers series that they do. They have one artist on the present day and then another artist on the past, and it's completely different art styles, and it looks really, really cool for the most part, unless they're actively referencing the old Marvel G1 days, because that art back in the 80s just... So she goes on to say, I knew how to fight them too. The truth was different. Oh, no, wait. Known throughout the land, feared by all, that's what I felt like. At least I was just a dumb kid. The truth was different. The bear. That monster wasn't afraid of anything.
That's a beautiful illustration.
Yeah. I'm just glad there's no picnic basket anywhere near it. She goes on to say, but we survived, my family and I. We stayed together, my old family. And again, the art in this is absolutely brilliant.
That's, Ross Campbell.
Yeah.
It's beautiful because we don't see any turtles. I feel awful saying that, because he does a beautiful job with, the style. It's not my favorite style, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. I feel really bad. Ross Campbell, I love you. He's not listening to this podcast.
If I find him on Twitter, I'll point him out to it and tell him it's all your fault. Why is it running? There's no danger. Scent. What is that? Something is burning. Smells like meat. Smells like death. Welcome, Alopex, to your final initiation. You are no longer just a soldier from this point on. You are a Chunin of the Foot. This is a sacred ritual that dates back for centuries. Today, you will let go of your past so that you may embrace your future with your true family. I am so proud of you. And, oh my God, Ross and the colorists and everybody. The red on her. Oh, so good. Oh, man. And she basically goes off on Shredder. She basically claws the crap out. I'm wondering, no, he had the scar before, didn't he?
Yeah, this is a different cut. This is because the one on his eye is still there.
Yeah, that's what I need to look at. Yep, it does. The helmet and the face mask. The faceplate on him covers up his entire... except the very top under his cheek and from the right eye. I can't see anything, at least in this panel.
In the next page, there you can see it, but...
Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can, the bottom panel. Yeah, you're right. Let's see. She says... You had my loyalty, but then you bring me back here, show me my life, and then you destroy it all. You kill them all. Are you smiling at me? I am. You know it was my idea to use foxes. Crafty, so perfect hunters, I hold them in high esteem. Well, duh.
Yeah, he does.
Your old girlfriend is a fox, quite literally, when she puts on her mask, so... that's one thing I'd be interested to see, is if current day Kitsune as a fox would go up against Alopex. That would be kind of interesting to see that kind of fight. But you need to remember your place. Never touch me again. And he backhands her.
That's just... He's letting her tear him up, and then it's all over.
Oh, yeah. Pretty much, yeah. The forest was full of life, and it is all gone. You've destroyed them all. You act as though you're still one of them. You're not. Your foot. I want to slice it off. I want to run. I can't. You are right, Master. It was my old instinct. There is no escape from the foot.
Where's the...
What?
I'm looking for the turn here. She says, I'll be his greatest warrior. I will fight my way back to his side. I know he'll forgive me, but I know who he is. He's the bear, and this time I'm going to kill the bear.
Kill the bear.
Which is foreshadowing that has not yet paid off exactly. Which is, they plant that seed early, and from here on out, we can't trust Karai near Shredder. Like, we know something is going to happen eventually. Alopex. Who did I say? Oh, yes. Right. I'm looking at the next issue picture with Karai there. I think that it polluted me.
So in the trade, I get the bloody footprint with Alopex, like you said. I also get a 2-page spread done by Eastman of Krang. It's very mechanical looking, but it's just Krang, and it's all blue and white. It's on a white background. And then I also get a black and white of art by Mike Henderson, black and white of Krang in his body. And some art by Andy Kuhn with Baxter and the Flyboard. Overall, City Fall Part 1 and the Part 1 as far as the trade goes. City Fall Part 1 and the first Villains micro series, absolutely brilliant. I don't think there was anything, there's a little thing, a few things in them that kind of bug me about the art and stuff. I'm not going to sit here and take a point off because I continually complain about Splinter, about them not being able to draw Splinter properly. But other than that, City Fall, it was and wasn't what I was expecting, which is a good thing. I think that was really awesome what they did with it. I'm trying to think. As far as a rating for City Fall itself, for Part 1, for issues 21 through 24, there are a couple little nitpicks, but I am going to give it a 4 out of 5, which is really liked it. I like where they're going with the story. I like that they're not just sitting here saying, "Oh, hey, Shredder's going to say he wants Leonardo as his tune-in," and then nothing comes of it, because sometimes things like that will happen. I love how fluid this series is. It's absolutely amazing. What are you going to rank 21 through 24?
It's hard to... There's that 4 and 5 thing, there's really liked it, and then there's it's perfect. I think, short of them screwing up, I'm still going to give them a number 5, a 5 points rather, a 5-star,
yes.
Whatever unit of measurement we give them. I think I still give it a 5, just because the series is still so good, and it's done with love, even when they screw up something. I gotta give them points for doing things that are better than a lot of the mainstream books with material that we've all seen and read and done before.
Yeah, absolutely. For the micro series, for the Villains micro series, Volume 1, I think I like them all except for Krang, honestly. I don't know. I mean, Krang's story, yes, I'm very appreciative, and I understand now where current-day Krang is coming from. But there are just way too many old movie cliches I see in that story. So, for Villains Micro, let's see. I'm going to give it a 3.5, which is liked it, for Villains Micro Volume 1. I really did dig Alopex, Old Hob, and Baxter. Those were all very, very well executed stories with very few, things I didn't like in it. And the art in all four of them there, Krang, Baxter, Alopex, and Old Hob, all four of them are just amazing. Absolutely. What about you for the villains?
With most of the one-shot micro series books that they've been doing, it's really not necessary to read unless you're a hardcore fan that really wants to know more about these characters.
Like us.
Well, yeah. 'Cause I've spent so much money on Ninja Turtle books, I'm not going to stop now. I can't. I'm going to buy the books even when they're terrible, because I don't ever want to change my mind 20 years later and say, man, I really wish I wouldn't have sold all those Archie books to that dude. Because then I have to rebuy them all. So, either way, I think just from the standpoint of you don't need to read these books, I'll give it a 4. It has less to do with how much I actually love them than how much I think you all actually need to read them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and that's kind of the point here, is that, our rating system is, how we feel about the books, not necessarily. Am I going to sit here and not recommend people read Krang because I don't like certain plot points in it, or the generalization cliche of, father versus son? No, I'm going to sit here and say you should, if you want to know about Krang, if you want to know where his motivations come from and what happened to him in his life, go read it. So the only way I would not be able to recommend anything here on this podcast is if I rated it anything lower than a 3. So... all right. Where can the people interact with you online if they would like to do so, sir?
I would love to interact with people, although I'm a technological... I forgot the word. Luddite. I don't have the Twitters. I do the Facebook, but if I don't know you, I probably won't like it. I tell you what you can do to interact with me is if you go to Facebook and search for Geek Stuff Garage Sale, you can like that page even if you're not in the West Michigan area to come to our sales and interact with me there. Send me messages, and I can get back to you.
You can find me and TFG with Mike on Twitter. You can also find @Geekcast Radio over there. That's going to do it for this episode of the Pull Bags Back Issue Classics. I have no idea what's coming up next. Not exactly sure. So make your great escape into comics, and we will catch you next time.
You've just heard the latest episode of the Pull Bag, the GCRN's comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate our show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Call the voicemail line, 502-526-5821. Please remember to tell us the show you're leaving the message for, and your name. Become a fan of us on Facebook by searching Geekcast Radio Network. Send us an email feedback at geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter @GeekCastRadio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.